Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Duwogaming. It is Saturday night, and we are here for a special treat. Just a little update. Journeys in Djruthourhi and Adventures Anonymous are currently on a break. We're going to have some content for you. We kind of missed some things last night, a little scheduling conflict, just like, every other D&D game in the world. But here we are tonight. We have a story that our DM Okami would like to tell. Uh, the name I have is Arcane Imbalance. I don't know if she's changed that or not. But here we are. I would just like real quick to plug our new TikTok, which I believe I've linked here in Twitch. Also, our Twitter and YouTube channels. Go check those out. Follow us, subscribe, hit those bell notifications. Get us a little bit more reach out there so we can grow and continue producing wonderful content for you all.
All right. Yes, hello everyone. I have claimed the reins of Saturdays, at least for a little while. I have shuffled Dumey off to the side. I have regaled him to the role of player for now.
I
But
hate it.
I'm torturing you at torture. I forced him into this, everyone. Don't let him fool you. I dangled him over a live volcano until he agreed to let me run the Saturday game for a while.
Kicking and screaming.
Hmm. The whole time.
As he should.
Rude. But yes, we are in the world of the Arcane Imbalance. This is a world lost to time, and our adventurers now live at a point where magic has gone haywire. Magic still exists, magic still functions, but something is wrong. There are rumors floating about in the world that there's something amiss and afoot. The three gods of this world have seemingly vanished. They still accept prayers, they still accept offerings, but they don't seem to connect with the people. Our four adventurers, who I will have introduce themselves in just a moment, have come together through a series of bizarre adventures and events and are now off searching for what they think is the best lead for the missing gods. I will go ahead and I'll have our players introduce themselves and we will get our adventure started.
I am playing the mysterious trickster Una Puck. They present two forms, one female, one male, and then they have a true form that no one has seen in this party yet. I am one half of the twins in this group with Sierra. My character is very immature, very aloof, wishing they always had got to live like a very adventurous lifestyle. They play a lot of tricks. They try to be harmless, but because of how magic works here and how wild it can be, sometimes those tricks turn a little more sinister than they should be. But my character generally has a very heart of gold. Is very protective of their sibling, even though they have a very big rivalry, and is a giant jazzy fan person.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Mab. Um a bard. I am the polar opposite of my dearest older sibling. Dare I say twin. Uh I like to think I'm everyone's favorite, but time will tell. Uh, I like things to be done correctly. I like the finer things in life. I deserve to have my pillows fluffed and my room heated by a lovely fireplace. I think our companions are interesting. And that's where I'll end that. Mab goes by she, they. Thank you.
My character just goes by they unless they're presenting one of their certain forms, and they don't care. Just go by that one.
Very good.
Aye. Jazzy Toncoat's the name. And we was a pirate for the longest time. And we still wish we was a pirate, but things don't work out the way you always want them to. So, here we are. We're a little bit bouncy, curious, and not one to step back from a fight. So, we are the roguish swashbuckler of the group, and we like to flaunt our skills with a blade when we can, but our companions don't always get the joke. So, yeah, that's Jazzy in a nutshell. She's ready to roll.
Excellent.
Hello, I play a turtle named Doctus. Believing everything happens for a reason, Doctus goes where life takes them, always seizing the opportunity to learn from people or experiences, whether good or bad. They believe everything is balanced. People are who they are and generally will not interfere unless someone is being bullied, and that term is used quite broadly. They have violet eyes, they're 460 pounds. They're well into their years, I would say, not for a turtle, since they're about 120 years old, though we don't exactly know why, since turtles normally only have a lifespan of 50 years. But they're always good vibes, always have good advice to give, though they don't volunteer it unless asked, because not everybody seems to like that.
All right. And as we get into our world, our four adventurers have been traveling together for about a year, exploring in the world. When you're in a tavern at one point, someone is investigating the notice board, and you notice that there is a missive from one of the far northern kings who wants to meet with any groups who have or are seeking information about the missing gods. If they have any information, they are to come to the castle immediately. And if they are searching for information, they are to go to the village of the Old Shrines. The village of the Old Shrines is a very important location, as this is the rumored place of the first temples of the gods. No one knows for sure because the temples are long gone. The temples themselves have fallen and have been reclaimed by nature a very long time ago, but the inhabitants of this town still cling to the belief that this is where the gods came to the world first. Now, Doc, you would recognize the town of the Old Shrines, and this would be very interesting to you. Actually, this would be very interesting to all of you. Because in this day and age, magic is not trusted. Many magic wielders are seen with distrust and almost disdain, depending on how they're handled. And for someone, especially a king, to be so openly seeking information on magic is weird. And so as you take the missive, you're able to get a coach. And the fee is surprisingly cheap up to the town of the Old Shrines. The actual name of the town is unknown to outsiders. It's a very closely guarded secret of the town, because in this world, names have power. And so you travel for a few days, making your way up. And as you travel further and further north, everything gets colder. It's unseasonably cold. When you had started your trek a few days ago, it had been just to the end of summer, right to the beginning of autumn. Still warm, a little bit of rain in the air. Temperatures are just starting to cool. But as you travel further and further north, everything is blanketed in an almost winter-like snowfall. The cart takes you about 100 feet from the entrance to the village. And as you trek through, it's cold. It's unnaturally cold. The wind is almost biting in the air. And you come up to a gate made of logs. The gate is cracked slightly, and you do see some people milling about, dressed in very thick furs. But you do see a guard at the front of the gate who appears to almost be sleeping on the job. I apologize for the less than opulently populated map, but it was the best I had going. And yes, I will proudly announce this map was designed and created by me.
Good job.
I'm very proud of it.
Cool.
So yes, you see a guard kind of casually snoozing against one of the logs. He's not really paying attention as people run by. And he hasn't really noticed your approach. The logs themselves stand about 10 feet tall. You can't see in between them, and they have been stacked together and bound with thick ropes. And you can see along the top, occasionally there will be what appear to be barrels of pitch and spikes.
Looks like somebody's ready for defending something.
Maybe they heard you were coming.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're so dangerous.
Well, yeah, I mean, now that you say that, maybe they did.
I don't understand why you're so defensive around me all the time, Jazzikins. It's kind of hurting my feelings.
But you... never mind.
Hey, Jazzy, you've traveled a lot. Is it normal for it to be this cold out here?
Cold? I mean, I wasn't really noticing it, but I suppose it's... I mean, it's not the ocean. We didn't really sail into the colder seas, but...
It's called snow, you dolt. Anyway, who has the parchment? Show it to the guard. I don't want to stand out here all day explaining our arrival.
I would, but my hands are kind of the only thing keeping me warm right now.
I told you to get a coat, darling.
I gave it to Doc. Not a lot of
Be a dear and hand him the parchment.
It's a lot colder than I'm used to, even for me who's used to the cold. I think the sooner we get to a fire, the better.
Oh, look, there happens to be a large one right in the middle of camp that I'm trying to get us into.
Do I have the parchment? Doc shuffles around and looks through his pockets. Did somebody give it to me?
We gave it to you earlier.
Doc starts walking up to the guard. Says, "Hello, we come to for Oh, sorry, it's very cold." And Doc puts his head back down in his shell as he holds the parchment up.
What? Who goes there? The guard kind of abruptly sits up and kind of slides off the log a little bit, and he pulls a spear out, and he kind of points it at you guys before resting back down. He goes, "Oh, what are you doing here? Why have you come here?"
Don't fret,
Well,
young
darling,
one. We
if
come
you
in
would have
peace.
less paper, you would have less questions.
One at a time, you fruity-looking thing. I'll talk to the turtle first.
What?
Now. We come in peace. We mean no harm. We're just peaceful folk on our way doing an investigation, and the turtle puts his head back in his shell. I'm sorry, it's just ungodly cold in here.
You see him kind of rub his hands. Yeah, it is a little cold. It's not usually this cold this soon, but You said you're here for investigating. Do you have any travel papers?
That's what you just... We just went over this!
You may have gone over it. I have to perform the official investigations. You have two options here. You either let me get through my official procedures, or you can stand outside while I get my guard captain. Those are your two options.
Are they really gonna treat us like this?
We treat all outsiders like this. Don't think you're special.
Fast, do that.
Perhaps your guard captain is expecting us, perhaps?
That's a perhaps. We had gotten a report that an investigatory force, a group of adventurers, was going to be coming our way. That by chance be you and your little circus?
Yes.
Doc pokes his head out a little further. Well, that's probably us. As charming as ever, I see.
I ain't no part of no circus.
The guard just kind of sighs and takes the paper from Doc and reads it over really quickly, and he goes, all right, yep. Appears we are expecting you, in fact. All right, come on in. And he steps just a little further up the trail, and he gestures for you all to come into the tree line.
About time. My friends were getting cold. I don't know why. It's not that cold out here, but...
Well, you can head over to the fire first. There's usually some food. There's usually some clothes, blankets. Travelers that aren't experienced in the northern ways.
And your name, darling?
I didn't give it.
We didn't
That's
care.
why I asked.
Tell you what, you give me yours, I'll tell you mine.
You can call me Mab.
Very well, Mab. You can call me Lieutenant Voss.
Voss or Boss?
Voss, 2 S's.
Right. And do they call you Boss?
No. They call me Lieutenant Voss.
Too bad. Boss the boss.
Lieutenant Voss just goes back to his post. He just kind of waves you off and steps back. You notice him leaning back up against the wall and the log and just kind of stare out into the snow, watching the occasional cart go by.
He was the right git, wasn't he?
That's a word for it.
He was something.
We would have tied him by his ankles and drug him behind the ship if we would.
You know,
You would have made him walk the plane.
Jazzy, I'm glad you brought that up because times like these, I sure wish that one of you were strong enough to tie a rope around me and drag me through the snow, I'll be honest.
Well, if we get high enough on a hill, I could ride you down on your shell.
Huh, that's an interesting thought.
You're like a pre-made snow schlep.
Una's eyes light up at the idea of using the turtle as a toboggan.
And so as you're seated around this fire, you do notice that there appear to be small baskets. Every couple of planks or so, there's some dried fish, some dried meat, dried fruits. Occasionally there'll be a bigger basket that has clothing or blankets in it. And as you're sitting around, you guys can see that several people are walking around. Most people will pay you about half a glance and then just kind of move on.
The ones that pay half a glance, Jazzy would kind of give them kind of a stink eye. Mind your business.
Maybe you should bare your tooth at them.
Mab, why you always got to be such a stick in the mud?
I don't think I follow those stereotypes.
And then you have Doc happily waving at everybody he comes across with a big smile on his face.
I'm not a
Jazz.
stick in the mud. I'm merely making a comment. Just because I don't sound like this doesn't mean I don't have something to contribute.
No. You always have something to contribute. That's definitely not the problem.
Jazzy would have grabbed a blanket and put it around Doc.
Wait.
Oh, thank you.
I walk over to Una and I lean down as they're sitting on the log and I just flick their forehead and walk away. Don't be a twat, Una.
You're lucky I'm too cold right now to do anything about this.
Yeah, that's the problem. Alright. Get warm so we can get this over with.
Jazzy is busy hopping and making perfect little footprints in the snow.
Adorable.
How long till this guy comes out and meets with us finally?
You better hurry up. We got things to do.
I know. I'm standing by the fire, like literally just like standing right next to him, like warming up because the log is still too far.
You get
As
too
you
close
guys-
like that, you're gonna singe your foot. Never mind.
As you guys are talking about that, you hear in the building across the way, you hear a door slam open and then slam shut, and you hear the trumping of boots on gravel as a man approaches you. He's dressed in similar armor to Lieutenant Voss, but it's of much higher quality. He has much higher level gear, for lack of better phrasing. He has a much nicer sword on his hip. He has a shield on his back. He's actually wearing a helmet. And he has a thick fur cloak wrapped around his shoulders as he slowly walks around this gravel ring, approaching your group.
Can I try to persuade him to let me wear the fur cloak?
Absolutely.
Darling, I'm not from around here, and I'm quite cold. Any chance you would let me wear your cloak for a little bit?
Wait, what kind of fur is that?
You
He kinda looks
recognize
you
it,
over.
Jazzy?
He looks you over and he says, "This is why we have blankets in the buckets. If you're looking to procure a cloak, I can direct you towards a craftsman. My cloak is not to be touched by anyone other than myself and occasionally my wife. As for what kind of fur it is, wolf. Is that a problem?
Oh, good. Damn creatures. Hellish
Rabbits
brutes.
Rabbits don't make enough fur for anything other than gloves."
Ooh.
I
I'm
don't
gonna go
like
find
you
one of those
anymore.
blankets quickly.
What was that, Jazzy?
I said I don't like you anymore.
I'm not here to be liked. I'm here because I was told you're here to investigate the disappearance of the gods. Is this true?
Right, you are.
What
That's
the
what-
paper said.
Yes, what the paper said.
So then you're here on behalf of the Puppet King, eh?
The Puppet King, care to elaborate on that nickname? I don't know if it's quite made it south.
The Bastard King moved himself up north of our village, plunked himself down in a great stone castle that seemingly appeared overnight, and then started spouting all this nonsense about needing to find the gods and find the information on the gods. Now, those of us here in our little village are very proud of our heritage of protecting this sacred site. We don't take too kindly to people coming in and demanding information from us. Are you going to be coming in and demanding information from my people?
Well, do you
Only
want
if
the
they-
job done or not?
Only if they consent, darling.
I mean, you told me what kind of fur it was pretty easily.
Wolves.
I don't know why we want to demand anything. Aren't we all working together here?
That depends. Do you know what his plans are for why he wants this information?
Yes, I mean, no.
Oh, how the turntables have turned. Now you're the one asking us questions.
It is my job.
Jazzy's just laughing now.
So, my dear, what is it that we can do for you exactly? Where should we start?
That depends. Are you planning on taking our secret information to the king so he can come down, demand we pay him tolls and tithes, take over our land, and erase the worship of the gods, or are you here to protect the balance, however tenuous it may be?
Protect
I
the
mean,
How
balance.
can we
of course.
erase gods that we don't know?
Protect the balance, of course.
Hold
My-
on,
my-
man. Pull
My
up-
Shelly friend over here would be quite upset if we were not balanced.
But if they want to get rid of the king, then drawing him out with information to come down here would make quick work. Yeah,
See,
right.
we're not here to assist in the assassination of a royal.
How do you know?
They haven't paid us yet.
Well, usually you get the money after the job's done.
But we're just here originally to investigate the missing gods. I think we should start there and then figure out what we're doing after that now.
And then we
Right,
kill him.
we don't know the impact of any of this information anywhere.
No, Jesse. No killing. Not right now.
So
I can
why
assure you.
keep secrets from the rest of the lands?
My dear captain, is it? Can you please share with us what you know?
What was your name? How do you spell it? In case I need to reveal a secret to you correctly down the line.
And I rolled a 17 persuasion to try to get him to share some information with us, like less hostility.
Jazzy just rests her forehead on Doc's shell at this point.
While we're waiting for information, I'm going to attempt. I have a little like velveteen baggie that has ball bearings in it, and I want to cast heat metal on the ball bearings so I can make like a little heat pack for Doc.
Aw.
Go for it.
Okay. What would you like for me to roll to attempt to cast a spell, darling?
Let's see. What level are you casting it at?
Level 3.
Okay. Go ahead and roll like normal.
Well, you don't roll; it just happens.
Click the thing.
I
Then-
clicked. Oh, sorry, it's a level 2.
Okay. Level 2. Okay. Okay. So your spell, as you're casting it, you can feel the magic in your fingertips, and it kind of shudders and sparks for a moment before you successfully cast heat metal on the ball bearings. It's kind of a weird. It's a shifting heat. One moment it'll be very hot, the next moment they'll be almost cold, but it's never quite to the point of uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
I turn around and I hand it over to Doc quietly. Just while they're hashing out whatever tenuous relationship we're building here, so you don't get cold.
You can see the biggest smile start to grow on Doc's face, and his little turtle tail is wagging happily as he gently lowers the ball bearings into his shell to keep his chest warm. Thank you so much. Oh, that is so much better. Oh, I needed that. Thank you.
It
Your
doesn't
twin is
lack
going to shoot you the
particular-
dirtiest look and say, "You could have done that for me the entire time."
You're sitting right by the fucking fire, Una. Take care of yourself.
That's the one who always wants a pillow's bloody fluff.
Anyway, Doc, don't listen to Una. She's a jealous bitch right now. She doesn't even know gratitude. She knows I can sometimes do this. She could have asked if she wanted it. We have to take care of our elders, Una.
I'm older than you.
I really want to kick you face first into the flames right now. Anyway, Doc. It's not indefinite, darling, but the heat should residually stay around for a little bit.
Oh, anything is appreciated. Thank you.
Of course, darling.
I can actually think now.
Una's gonna cast this, and every time that their sibling speaks, you just hear.
Very good. So, the guard captain has been watching this interaction go down with varying degrees of amusement and suspicion on his face.
If
And
you're going to give me a look like that, Captain, you should ask your wife if she minds you being borrowed.
All you hear is.
Wait, here's what?
you hear nothing. Dead silence.
Did we figure out what the captain's name is?
Nope. He has not given you his name.
Fucking fuck stick.
Mab,
Una-
I don't think sleeping your way to the top here is gonna help us.
Did Una's
Your
persuasion for information work at all, or no?
is in-
Oh yes, it has. I'm just waiting for a lull so I can give you the information.
Gotcha.
I
Yes.
could share a lovely pot of tea with him, Jazzy. Nothing has to be physical, darling. I'm sorry that your mind specifically always falls to that level. But among the educated, you can think of something a little bit better.
Mab, your well friend here may have standards, right?
Oh shit.
Now,
I'm
now,
sorry,
you
who are
two.
you?
Oh, this was a wonderful idea. So the guard captain has been watching you guys, and he wraps his hand, his armored hand, on his sword hilt a couple times to try to get everyone's attention.
Jazzy
I like
mimics
the
it.
way. No, I'm not going to say it. Too easy, too easy.
Una's gonna try and be like, "Yes, dear."
Would you like the information, or would you like to continue to bicker out here in the cold?
Love, I asked you for the information like 5 minutes ago. Clearly, I want the information.
If you ain't gotta speak up, we gotta entertain ourselves.
I'm a guard captain. My job isn't to entertain. My job is to make sure that my village is protected. Now, if you'd care to follow me into the town hall, we can continue to speak there, or we can continue to speak out here by the fire. It's entirely up to you.
Town hall works quite well.
I'm good either way, baby. Doc is doing a little happy dance because he's got the ball bearings.
Adorable.
I really don't know why you're all so worried about it. It's just a little bit of snow.
The guard captain leads you over into the town hall. Unfortunately, no town hall map. You're gonna have to use your imagination, which I know you're all very good at.
Imagination.
I'm going to grab a couple blankets and then we'll go into the town hall.
Very good. As you go into the town hall, it's much warmer. It is significantly warmer. due in part to the slightly smaller fire pit that's towards the back of the hall, with a vent off out to the back to pump out to not suffocate everyone inside. A few people are milling around. People will see you walking with the guard captain and then immediately look away as he leads you back to one of the quieter quarters. There's not really a quiet corner in the town hall at the moment, as there are several people milling about. You guys can get brief snippets of conversation. Pretty much everyone is talking about the weather and how cold it is, and how they're not sure how this is going to delay shipments. That's a lot of the talk in the town hall right now. The guard captain sits down at a table, gestures for you to join him, and then signals for a young woman to bring over some warm drinks and some food. He sits for a few minutes until she returns, before looking you all over and asking, "How much do you know about the gods?"
Well, God, how much do we know?
Well, I heard some rumors out there. Before I left my old line of work. The gods are kind of missing, and magic's kind of going haywire too, and that they're probably connected at some point, but I don't really know how, when, why, well, who or what either, if you really think about it. But yeah, I mean, good riddance. I really don't enjoy magic stuff anyway, but that's about all I know. How about you?
So, if anyone would like, you can make a knowledge religion check to see if you would know any more, any less. Doc, you know quite a lot about the god Vemri.
How do you spell that?
Vemri.
Vemri.
When did Nero get here?
Oh, that's...
Oh, I think that's just my name, sorry.
I rolled a 20 on religion.
Yes. And Mab rolled 14. Excellent. So, Mab and Una, you would have heard of these gods. The mention of the gods kind of stirs some weird deja vu in the back of your mind. You both have heard the names Vemri, Ashani, and Linwaldi before. And you would recognize them as the three gods of this world. You also both have a weird sense that you have met people with these names, but you don't know if they are the gods or not.
What was the last one, love?
Linwaldi. Vemri, Ashiani, and Linwaldi.
Mab, darling. Those names ring a bell, yeah?
Yeah, right in the back of the noggin. And I don't like when I can't bring it to the front. You know that weird deja vu feeling we get?
Yeah.
I feel like I've met people with those names. I can't guarantee they're gods or they're just people with weirdly fanatical parents.
Can't you just use small, normal words? Do you always have to use so many syllables?
Jazzy, take this as an opportunity to learn. Could expand your
What word are you
vocabulary a bit.
Yes, Jazzy. What word you got up on? Was it weird? Parent? Name?
Her ears are just kind of slowly raising up as she gets more annoyed.
Can't help you if you don't tell me which words you don't know.
I'm gonna hit her with the back of my cutlass, I is. Not the sharp end.
Anyway, we know the names Vemri, Shomri, Limordi.
So then you know that as at least one of you, and he looks over at Doc, is familiar with the gods, you understand their purpose and their place. You're standing on sacred soil where the original 3 temples of the gods were housed. Magic in our little corner of paradise is the least affected. The king wants to find out why. I have my suspicions because he wants to eliminate our little village, our little hamlet, and take the power for himself.
But why would he want to do that?
Because he's a right mad bastard. Does he need a reason?
Is
Doc
there
would
no
like to
way
insight
just
check.
Go for it.
share?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mab?
Is there no way to just share that whatever essence you have that makes it work?
All I can tell you is we here in our village believe the gods are still here, still walk among us, still exist, still care for us. So magic is easier here. Doctus, you can tell that he's pretty much telling the truth. He's hiding a couple things, but he's pretty much telling the truth.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
If it's this magical mishap that we seem to be having is tied to the gods, why are other forms of magic going haywire? Not everyone is imbued with the essence of the gods.
The gods created the world. They created magic. They brought order and chaos, the balance between the two, into the world. You think about magic, and it goes... Magic sometimes works, magic sometimes doesn't. Sometimes you can hit your friend with a blast of something, and sometimes you can't. Seems kind of crazy and chaotic to me. Now,
All of it is.
exactly. Now you have the other side of magic, where you can heal and you can make people better, and you can fix things, you can put things back together. Kind of seems like that would fall under a little bit of a good orderly type world. And then you have everything in between. Now, you pull a leg off a 3-legged stool. What happens to the stool? Falls over. You have 3 gods, 3 facets of power, 3 facets of magic. One of them goes missing, the stool collapses. All 3 of them go missing, and then, well, you're just left with a seat on the ground. It still works as a stool. Sometimes you'll just want to sit on the floor, but sometimes the stool's better than nothing.
Now, when you say they went missing, how do you mean?
And he kind of sits up a little straighter at this point. And he leans forward and he wraps his hands around his mug. And he says, "My family's lived in this town a long time. My grandfather's grandfather worked in the temples. And so you could say it's a little something in my blood. But I say missing because the gods have never abandoned us before. I don't think they would now. I think something or someone found a way to put them out of commission. Make it so that people stop believing in the gods. Make it so that magic dies out. Of course, I can't give you any proof. This is all just the ramblings of an old man who's seen better times, but all I can tell you for sure is magic wasn't always like this, and the gods wouldn't just leave.
Interesting.
But they did.
Well,
If they even exist in the first place.
I'll tell you right now, little furry friend, the gods are as real as you and me.
Hey, now, I
I've
ain't
had-
so small. I'm tall for my kind. Then she raises her ears straight up. With ears, 6'3". Without them, 5'8". Or,
I
sorry,
have heard
5'6".
I have heard quite a bit about them, Jazzy. I think they are real. But now I'm wondering, if the gods are missing, and the king wants to, assuming you're telling the truth, take away this hamlet, I can't help but wonder if the king knows something he's not letting on.
Yeah, but
Right.
I've heard a hell of a lot about unicorns too, but I ain't damn near seen one.
Oh, Jazzy,
Yeah.
you have a lot to learn. You'd be surprised. In time, young one.
Ain't
But
never-
what do you think would be strong enough for, like, have the ability to remove a god?
And with that, the guard captain shrugs. That I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to start looking for something that could capture or kill or contain a god. All I know is when I was very small, bouncing on my grandpop's knee, magic in the world was easy and it was safe. And now I'm an old man, grandkids of my own. Magic isn't safe. And it didn't happen overnight. But all I know for sure is it wasn't always like this.
Would we know if the gods were considered to be immortal?
You, Doc, would know that the gods would be seen as immortal.
Okay.
The gods
share
have been
that.
missing at this point for over 50 years. You, actually, you, Doc, you said you're 120?
Yeah.
You've seen magic at its prime. You've seen back when magic was safe. Magic, anyone could use magic. Wizards and clerics and paladins and sorcerers and warlocks weren't seen with the same level of distrust and fear that they are now.
Okay.
It wasn't unheard of to have someone in the family who was born with magic. It wasn't unheard of. It could be a little odd and some people didn't like it. But it wasn't that strange. Now it's nearly unheard of for people, especially for children to be born with innate magic.
Okay.
And so you would recognize what he's talking about, and you would know that yes, the gods are regarded as immortal. They are immortal beings that have lived on the land for a really fucking long time. Nobody knows how long, but they've always been around. Reports of them walking through towns and blessing people, legends, rumors, myths, but all seem to have a facet of reality.
Okay. Can you think of any reason why this might be the starting place to look for them? I know this is where the temples were, but for something that can send the gods away, because I think it would take something extraordinary for them to be killed. I don't think that's the case, because we still do have magic, but then again, who knows? But is there anything you can think of that might point us in the right direction?
He sighs very heavily. And he says, about 3 hours walk, almost due east from here, is a cabin. And in that cabin live 6 children who seem to live entirely on their own. These children are the most magically powerful people we've seen in a long time. All 6 of them were born with magic. Now, the weird thing is, the youngest only appeared to be about 10 to 12 years old, and they've been that way for almost 35 years.
Right, wonder how
So-
they ain't killed themselves yet with all that magic running around the house.
I don't know.
So you refer to them as children. How old are they exactly? Say, except for the younger one, which you said could be around 40-something years old.
The older 2, I would hesitate to guess, because they only look like they're maybe just sprouting into adulthood.
Do you remember how old you were when they moved in or moved into that house?
They've been here as long as any of us have. If I didn't know better, I'd say they founded the village.
Why
Interesting.
ain't they
And
living in it?
You don't trust magic.
Damn straight.
If you had that kind of magic, living in a world where people shun you just for simply being born looking a little different, would you want to live this close to town?
Well, personally, I wouldn't care, but Doc, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, I'm sorry. I have so many questions. It's in my nature. I'm just curious. How long before or after the gods seem to have been sent away did they settle down here with the rest of you? Or your people?
Well, they'd been living in that same spot for as long as I can remember. They were real active before. My grandpop used to tell me he would play with the young ones when he was a young one. And then the older ones would act like mentor figures. And then the gods disappeared and people started distrusting magic and they stopped coming around. So I'd have to say only 2 or 3 years after the gods disappeared and everything went sideways did they really kind of pull away. They still come into town. In fact, they're due for a supply run in the next, I'd say 2 or 3 days. That's their cart out there by the fire. They usually leave it there and the townsfolk help out. We load them up with supplies, blankets, perishables, non-perishables, and they just come in the night and next morning the cart's gone and the day after it's back.
And lastly, do they share a family name together?
Oh, that I couldn't tell you. I only ever knew the first names of the younger 2. Never knew the older ones.
What were they? What were the names of the younger 2?
The youngest, if my memory serves me right, the youngest was Valen. And then the one, I think it was a twin, was Narin.
And what about you? Do you trust wielders of magic or no?
Oh, me? I trust magic. Fireball on the face isn't anything worse than a werehound coming up and trying to rip your throat out.
Damn
Magic
dogs.
isn't anything to be feared. Magic isn't anything to be afraid of. It's a tool like anything else, and sometimes if your tool gets a little weird and a little wonky and you don't have the opportunity to fix it, you just make do with it.
I wouldn't know. Mine's always ready to go.
I was gonna say some doctors make salves for that, I hear. Not that I personally have that problem, but You know, I mean, teach their own. I'm sure Mab knows.
No, what?
Why do you have to bring her up? She was so quiet this whole time, and then you had to go say her name, Jazzy.
I had to make sure she was still alive because she ain't talked for more than 5 minutes.
I know, it was wonderful.
Mab is lovely. Come on, you two.
I didn't say she wasn't. I just was worried about her.
Do you think starting off by talking to this family of siblings is a good idea to find out anything about the gods?
Well, can't hurt, can it?
All right, we'll try to meet. You said they should be coming tonight, you think, right?
No, 2, maybe 3 days.
Oh, 2-3 days until they show up.
Yeah.
Is there lodging here for us to stay until then?
You could probably bed at the inn. You could probably bed with Spinster Greaves. She is an odd duck. Nice woman. A little odd.
Una will love her.
I was gonna say, I'm sure Mab would love that.
I'm sure I could figure out a way to get a decent room at the inn for myself and my friends.
Is she really a duck?
No, not a duck. It's just what we call her. She reminds me of your little friends here, and he says, kind of like nodding at Mab and Una. Weirdly familiar you two are.
Familiar to you? What about us is familiar?
Can't put my name on it. You just remind me of the old lady. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, let's would you be a darling and show us the way to the inn?
You can't miss it. Go out town hall, look to your left. It's the other big building.
You're such a courteous one. Thank you so much for your time. Around what time do you think we should be meeting these siblings?
They come at night. Can't tell you when.
I'm
No.
very glad you narrowed it down. Thank you so much. You've
No.
been a wonderful help.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I know the captain said well, someone said it couldn't hurt, but it'll hurt quite a bit if someone fireballs me in the face.
No one here is gonna fireball you in the face, little rabbit.
I'm not worried about here. I'm worried about these kids.
Una's gonna go behind the captain and like transform into him and just like mimic how he's talking. Like literally just like mouth like with a really stupid expression on her face as she does it.
Behind him and mocking him.
Yeah, literally like right behind him, like shapeshifts into him and is just like you know how someone is when they're behind someone, like mimicking how they're talking, like super like
hands
uptight.
have to be on your hips.
Yeah, hands on the hips, like wiggling their head around, waving a finger, whatever at Jazzy.
Well, little rabbit, if you're worried about being fireballed in the face, all you have to understand is most people here won't look twice at even your strange band. People here don't want trouble. If you don't make trouble, trouble won't be made. These kids are good kids. They've been around here a lot longer than most of us. If they were the type to just fireball someone in the face, I don't think our village would still be standing.
Still completely in that person's body and mimicking them the entire time they said that.
Jazzy
Right.
needs to reach down really quick, grab a handful of snow, and hurl a snowball at Una. Oh wait,
He's trying very
we're
hard.
inside. There's no snow, so never mind.
Una's trying very hard to make at least one person in the group laugh.
Doc laughs.
It's not Mab. It's not gonna be Mab.
I think I can roll a performance check on that.
I think that you can't
22.
PvP me into laughing.
I mean,
I know you're shit, and I'm tired of it.
Doc,
There, maybe I can make the turtle laugh though.
Doc didn't
Laugh for
confirm
me,
that he would
turtle.
laugh, so
What?
Doc has already confirmed that he's laughing.
All right, good.
Just so many. I just don't like being around so many magic users all the time. I've already got these two, and I just
When you say that, she's gonna try to like copy the captain's voice and say, "Which two are you talking about?" Right behind the captain.
She's just gonna cover her eyes with her ears.
Roll me a what would that be? Acrobatics check, please, Una.
Acrobatics?
Yes, please.
Oh no. Oh no.
As you say that, a fist comes up and stops an inch in front of your nose.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't hit yourself. I say in his voice.
Jazzy's hand has quickly moved to her cutlass and did not draw when she saw the hand stop.
Hitting yourself does not seem like a very good idea. You should love yourself.
Darling, I wouldn't put that fist any further if I were you. They're annoying and have god-awful taste. But they are one of us.
Hey, when you say I've got awful taste, hey, I didn't turn into this and then I turn into you. I turn into Mab quickly. Now I have god-awful taste.
I don't think I would be, if I was coming in as a guest to a village, I don't think I would be standing there mocking the captain of the guard.
Yes, well, darling, as my lovely sibling has already made it a little clear, thinking doesn't seem to be your strong suit.
What they mean to say is,
Yeah, I don't remember saying that exactly. Una.
Yeah, but you meant it.
what they mean to say is somebody as strong and menacing and muscular and brave as you is, their strong suit is probably on the battlefield and keeping everything in check and maintaining order.
You're correct. Maintaining order. Now, if you'd like to get out of my town hall and go talk to the spinster about getting a room, I would highly encourage that. I have patrols to be getting back to. I have a job to do. You're more than welcome to continue to waste my time. I would very much recommend keeping this one, and he jerks a thumb over his shoulder at Una, in check. The people here respect magic more, but they are still afraid of it. If you're going to be wandering around flagrantly showing off, I would advise against it. You are, after all, guests in my town.
Does your town have any other communal building?
We have a small indoor market, we have the town hall, we have the inn. What kind of communal building are you looking for?
A bath. Jazzy
Yes.
speaks up rather quickly.
No, we don't. One was slated to be built, and then we started getting heavily taxed by the king.
Okay, maybe someone needs to talk to the king. The fact that you guys can't even have a bath here is just... Well, that's just shameful.
I told you we draw him out and we kill him.
Most
No,
of the
Jazzy,
families
stop.
have personal baths. We just don't have anything communal.
Una's gonna turn back into herself.
If you're lucky, you'll be able to catch a hot shower in the inn.
Shower.
I'm sorry, love. Did you say hot shower?
Oh,
Yes.
that sounds.
The second you say that, Una runs towards the inn. Una is gone.
What's a shower?
Have you never showered, Jazzy?
I don't know what it is, so I can't answer that.
Oh my god, it's like standing under a hot waterfall.
I'm not.
It's like a hot spring that went vertical.
That sounds so weird. I mean, to have the part of the you soak in the bath, it feels good under your fur. It like warms you all.
No. No. Showers, warm, delightful, steamy.
DM, can I use this when I get to the inn, by the way?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Oh my God, I read that as bipolar demand, and I was like, that's fitting as hell.
Absolutely, you can use the bipolar demand. Yes, you can absolutely use by popular demand.
Sweet. I'm getting myself a comfortable room.
Very good.
Do we have to pass by the market on the way to walking to the inn?
No, the market is in the opposite direction of the inn.
Okay, no problem. I guess I could try this shower.
It's great. You're not sitting in your own dirt.
You'll love it.
Weird dry land things and dry land people, and I'd rather be sailing.
As you guys have been talking, the guard captain has gotten up and walked away.
Did we ever get his name?
No, we never got his name.
Useless lot you are.
Well, usually
Well,
the
what
law
do you
is
need his
that
name
way.
for?
Well, is the indoor open, or do I have to knock on it?
Oh no, it's an inn. You can walk right in.
Oh, sweet. I'm gonna walk right in.
To the inn.
They either take your gold when you bring it to shore, or they take it with taxes. Either way.
Lord. You sound like an old person, Jazzy.
What was the spinster's name you said again?
It is Spinster Greaves.
Do I see them when I walk in?
No, you don't really see much of anyone. There's a few people kind of wearing a similar garb to what you guys are, very more thick woolen garb, very much traveler's clothes. You see a bar off to one side with a few tables. You see up towards the back a set of stairs going up, and you see a man who looks kind of like you, but very different all at the same time. But he has a very similar look about him to you and Mab.
Is this like, has Una and Mab ever seen anyone that reminded them of them, or no?
He's the first person that you've ever looked at and kind of went, why the fuck do you look like me?
Una is very tentatively going to go over to them. And also use her psychic link with Mab and tell Mab about this.
I'm going to hurry over into the inn when I get the little Una symbol.
Okami,
Uh-huh.
are there other people in this inn right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few people.
Okay, this would probably play into that.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have one by popular demand and one by unpopular demand.
Yes.
So, Jazzy, as you walk in the doors, you see people look up, and a few people who meet your eye quickly turn away, and you see people, you see a few groups start very quietly talking to themselves.
anyone who holds a gaze longer than a second, Jazzy would kind of like snap her larger front teeth at them and kind of pat the hilt of her sword or cutlass.
Yeah.
Would I be used to this Jazzy getting this reaction or no by now?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
guys. Yeah. You guys are. This is a pretty common occurrence. You walk in first, Una, and people are a little livelier, a little more excited. Jazzy walks in first, and things go dead quiet.
Okay.
And then I come in.
The party don't start till I walk in.
And then Doc comes in just waving at everybody. Good morning. Good
Doc
afternoon.
comes in eventually.
Nodding and smiling at everyone.
Position of privilege, so people want to please me.
Mm-hmm.
When you come in, Una's gonna point out the guy to you that he wants to go talk to before they talk to the inn owner.
Yes, that's quite
Ma'am,
interesting.
Ma'am,
Una.
see them? I've never seen anyone here who looked like us before.
Well, your skin color that you present as Una is quite.
You know what I mean? It's
Drastically
not just that.
different.
It's this aura about them. They remind me of us.
And as Una says that, Mab, you notice that the person behind the bar doesn't look that strange compared to everyone else, but they definitely, you get the feeling. If you hadn't known to look twice at this person, you wouldn't have known what Una was talking about.
Interesting, Una.
You see it?
I don't see it. I feel something.
I want to talk to them. We don't have much. We don't have much memory from when our parents first found us here. Maybe they can help us.
So I wonder if the old bats are still living.
Hey, they were very nice to us.
They were dope, Una.
Why do you have to be such a brat? They didn't have to take us in, you know that. They took care of us when they did not have to. Especially considering, our bodies are bloody magic.
Considering that they're dope.
Just come, Mab.
I'm waiting on you, Una. You're the one who wants to approach them.
Una's
I'm
gonna.
here so you don't
person.
make a fool of yourself.
No promises.
Jazzy does a 1-2 hop and ends up sitting on the counter.
Of the bar?
Yep.
Oh,
Good
good.
as hell.
And Una's gonna approach the person with their sibling.
Doc, what are you doing at this point?
I don't personally consider Doc that old. I guess 120 compared to you guys is pretty old, but in my mind, whatever species or subspecies of turtle Doc is, their lifespan is generally up to 500 years. But
Oh, fairies are ancient. Me and Mab are 102, and we're like essentially like just barely like the equivalent of like 18, 19.
Barely.
right, yeah. So it's probably something similar, though not quite the same, but similar.
Yeah.
So Doc is probably chilling nearby Jazzy, making sure that Jazzy doesn't get themselves into too much trouble. If they break something, sliding the bartender a little few copper or silver to pay for the damages and that sort of thing.
Very good.
And he's just listening to the conversation, seeing if he can gather any information over time.
She definitely knocked a glass off the bar with her tail when she hopped up onto the counter.
The loud crash echoed around in the room, and a few people that have been kind of watching, they start whispering a little louder, and you all hear the name Torn Throat whispered about before things die back down.
Does that mean anything to us?
That's Jazzy's infamous name.
Oh, okay. So would Jazzy? I'm assuming by now that would mean something to us. Okay.
Her real name's Torncoat, but bad reputation.
Turncoat, like you're a coward.
You don't never be calling me turncoat. I didn't have a mutiny. It was all just a misunderstanding.
Mab, can we focus for a second?
Sorry, I'm sorry. Well,
The bartender's just standing there, cleaning up the broken glass. Hasn't really acknowledged your presence.
The bartender's the one I want to talk to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The bartender's the one that's giving you that feeling that you've only ever really gotten from Mab before. And Mab is the same kind of feeling you've only ever gotten from Una, is the same magical sense.
Una's going to try to get the bartender's attention.
It's pretty easy. He's just been kind of cleaning stuff up, so as soon as you walk over and aren't sliding across his bar, he looks up at you, just kind of flicks his eyes up, and he goes, and he kind of squints for a second, but then just kind of, how can I help you?
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, sibling.
He looks over at Mab.
Do you have anything non-alcoholic?
I've got water. I've got juice. And I can probably wrangle up some tea.
A hot tea would be devastatingly wonderful at this point.
And he kind of looks across at the rest of you. Anything else while I'm brewing?
Tea sounds lovely.
Would you mind if I came with you and talked to you?
That wildly depends on what you want to talk about. I don't typically let customers behind the bar.
It's private if you don't mind. Can I try to persuade him to let me?
Go for it.
Don't fail me
I'll
now.
give you the help action, so it's with advantage.
Okay.
20.
He kind of once overs you and just kind of, all right. And he looks over at Jazzy. If you get off my bar, I'll offer you a drink.
Fine, I suppose. And she just kind of gives him like a death glare and like scoots forward a little bit and slides off the edge of the bar onto her feet.
With a really loud comedic squeak.
Yeah. There.
Better. Now,
Drink?
What would you like?
Liquor.
What kind?
Strong.
I'm going to bring you something, and don't yell at me if you're still hungover 2 days from now.
More the better. Sorry, I dropped another glass. This time she just kind of elbowed one off the bar just for the hell of
it. He doesn't even flinch. He comes around and he lifts up the bar door so you can come back behind the bar, Una. All right, come on.
Una's gonna follow.
And so he leads you back into the kitchen, the small kitchen that you guys can see as he gets a pot of tea brewing before heading back out to the bar and starts mixing what can only be described as an adios motherfucker, but fantasy.
Fair. I'm here for it. Have you been here for a long time?
Yeah, I suppose you could call it a long time.
Like Una's trying to find like the words to like say it, so she's like stumbling a little bit. See, me and my sibling, have no memory from anything past about 10 years, and there's something about you that just is familiar to us. And I was wondering if you would know anything that might help us remember.
And you see him pause just for a moment
I know
before.
that's a super weird question. It's just
Well,
we have no memory of anything
he
before these last couple of years.
he slides Jazzy her mug full of swill.
I like hold my nose at just like the amount of alcohol.
It if you had any sort of open flame, you would be convinced you would spontaneously combust just from the vapors coming out of this mug.
And she just kind of breathes it in. See, Mab, this clears your sinuses, you know? Breathe it in, better than dirty leaf water.
God, Jazzy. That smells so horrid.
But once I agree with Mab.
Doc, what do you think? And she holds it under Doc's nose.
Doc is actually trying to recall if I've ever smelled Jazzy drink something so foul.
You have smelled something similar when you were on the boat, but it wasn't Jazzy drinking it.
Okay, and how did that particular scent? What kind of memories are associated with it? Like, what do I remember the crew people doing? Were they especially rowdy, or more or less the same as regular alcohol, or what?
They were rowdier than normal, but they pretty much left you alone at this point. Most of them got drunk very quickly when they stumbled across this keg, and pretty much everyone was and hung over relatively quickly in a drunken stupor. So the memories you have are pretty neutral. Nothing terrible happened, but it also wasn't like you were out back in your 20s going on a bender.
Okay.
Pirates.
Well,
Yeah,
Jazzy, there's. Oh,
they drank until they were stupider than usual, and most of them passed out on the deck.
it's probably nothing you can't handle, Jazzy.
Smartest thing anyone said all day. And she takes a big swig.
And it is a familiar, potent burn in your throat, Jazzy. And you have tasted this brew before. Not this exact brew, but something very similar. Many years ago, when you were still at the height of your piracy, before your entire worldview had been changed. And it brings you back to fond memories of looting and pillaging and drunken nights with the crew.
Charlotte. Wait, what? Sorry.
Oh,
Bruno's still just like looking at the bartender, hoping that they're gonna say something helpful.
yeah, he leads you back into the kitchen. And as he's getting leaves into mugs and hot water and a small little timer set, he leans against the counter and slides you a less potent beverage.
Okay.
This has a similar alcoholic burn to it, but it doesn't have the same noxious fumes spewing out of Jazzy's mug. You can tell this is strong, but you don't feel like you're going to die just being in its vicinity.
Okay, she's gonna sip at it because she wants to like remain a little sober in case they say something of like use.
Absolutely. And this has a burn down your throat. You've had alcohol before, and this has a similar burn. It's a little more potent, and this is a lot sweeter than anything you have tasted.
Okay.
It also brings back that same sense of deja vu. You've tasted this before. You don't remember where, you don't remember when, but you've tasted this before.
What is this? I've had this before.
I suspect you've had it quite a lot.
Me and my sibling, we didn't really ever drink much growing up with our adoptive parents.
And he doesn't really say anything as he gets the tea all set, and he's very quiet. And he just walks out and he sets the tea in front of Mab and Doc and comes back into the kitchen with you, Una, leaning against the counter. And he pulls out a bottle from under the counter that you hadn't seen before. And the bottle shimmers in the low light of the candles. And the liquid inside almost seems to turn and spin and shimmer and glow.
I'm assuming I would recognize that as magic, right?
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
Okay. Una's like just like transfixed by what kind of liquid is that?
It's Fey wine.
I'm sorry, Faye.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that's a different realm, no?
It is indeed. Tell me, read the bottle. What's it say?
Can I read it?
It says property of the royal court in clear language.
Property of the royal court. What about it?
Take this bottle out to your friends. Not your sibling. The other ones. Ask
Okay.
them to read it.
Okay. I'll be right back. Una's gonna like walk out, and she's gonna probably go to Doc before Gazzy, because they assume Gazzy's at least a little tipsy right now.
Hang on. Roll me Constitution, Jazzy. You're feeling it. You're definitely leaning on the side of tipsy, but this is not anything that you haven't handled before. It's been a while since you've had anything like this, so you're feeling it, but you're not. You're buzzed. You're not quite tipsy, but you're definitely buzzed.
And that's why you drink this to stay warm.
Gazzy, Doctus.
Hmm?
Weird question, but can you just tell me what this says quickly? The barkeep is acting strange about this bottle.
And so, Jazzy and Doc, this bottle that you see appears to be a wine bottle holding a red wine that is written in a language neither one of you have ever seen or heard of. You can't make out the characters. You can't make out anything on the bottle except a very small print at the bottom. It's labeled as for internal use only.
I mean, according to the bottle, it's something you drink for internal use only. That's what it says right there, right?
No, not there. I point, and then I'll point at like the ones that you can't read, obviously, but I don't know this.
Yep.
No,
Una,
here. What does this say?
Una, my best advice is do not use this to wash out your eyes under any circumstance.
Why would he do
You
that?
see the colors. You see the colors too. The swirling.
Doc takes a closer look.
It looks like regular old red wine. Kind of shimmery, but other than that, it looks like just regular old wine.
So, Doc, being a researcher, is there any way they can recall where they might have seen such language, even if they don't understand it themselves?
Give me an Arcana check. You recognize a couple of these symbols from a book you read a while ago about the legends of the Fae, but other than that, it's entirely incomprehensible.
Okay, what were you saying, Una?
But like, you don't see the colors and stuff.
It's very pretty.
It's just scribbles on a frickin' label.
No, but like the liquid inside, you don't see it. The swirling.
I mean, if you spin it around, it's gonna swirl like any other drink. Look, and she holds over a cup and swirls the liquid around.
Una feels like he's going crazy. Mab, darling, Mab.
What, Una?
Do you see this? And I show her the bottle.
And Mab, you see the swirling colors. You see the color shifting, iridescent, this beverage is so much of a rich purple, it's almost black until Una swirls it, and then the colors shift and change and twist. And the bottle says right on it, property of the royal court, and then in little tiny print at the bottom, for internal use only.
It
And
says
both-
property of the royal court.
Yeah, they don't see it. What? But what about the liquid inside? Do you see the colors?
It's got some like dust in it.
Do you not see the dust? And then I hold it back to Doctus.
Does Doctor see the dust?
No, you just see kind of a little shimmery, but it could easily just be something that happens when you shake a bottle.
Una, I've been around 120-ish years, and that is the prettiest shade of purple I have ever seen in my days.
Una's gonna like pour a little tiny sip for Mab and hand it to her, and then walk to the back again.
Okay.
Come on, you two. I mean, it was funny for a second, but it's another twin thing trying to pull one over on us. I mean, I ain't drunk enough for this.
Are you
Una's
trying to
reputation
pull
is
one
pretty
over on us, Jazzy? Look, there's this like swirling powder in it. Like somebody crushed up a pearl and put it in.
You hear in your mind from Una as she's walking to the bank. She's like, "Drink it. You're gonna know the taste. It's so strange."
I don't like to drink.
You just hear her, your sibling yell in your mind. Just do it.
I take a
Jazz.
sip.
And just like Una, you have tasted this before. You don't know where, you don't know when, but you have tasted this before.
I'm gonna go back to the barkeep.
He's just quietly been watching everything go on.
What? Why? How do they not understand the language on it?
He sighs and he walks out, having you follow him. He puts his fingers in his mouth and lets out a piercing loud whistle that doesn't affect the four of you.
Okay.
And he calls out to all the people in the bar. All right, bar's closed. If you're staying, get upstairs. If you're not, get out.
But I just started my drink.
And he looks at you and he points and he goes, "You stay." And he points at Doc, "You too. If you're traveling
Well-
with these two, this is important for you to know."
Una's gonna look to her sibling like, "Are we in trouble?"
Obviously.
And people are very quickly filing out of the inn. And a few people are grumbling about not getting their last drink. And a few people are making their way upstairs. And as the last door shuts, and it's just the five of you in the inn area, he pours out a second bottle of this same stuff, pulls out a glass, pours himself some, takes a big swig, looks at Una and Mab and goes, "How much do you two know about the Fae?"
It's
Didn't he say?
Isn't it- that's another realm, no? I remember learning a little bit about it in our teachings, but that's about it, no?
He looks over at Mab. How much-
Look. Una's not the most articulate, but we haven't really come across a ton of information. It's not like it's ever been relevant.
Another world, like
And
what
you
would it have
said,
to do with us?
he looks back at Una, that you don't have any memories until about 10 years ago.
Yeah, me and my sister were found on a road by this family.
You know I don't like to be called your sister.
Sorry, love.
Okay. Found by the side of the road. Any particular memories of how you got there, or you just woke up?
I remember. It's like a weird dream. Like I just woke up there. I remember like the idea of just a mess of chaos before.
He looks over at Mab. What do you remember?
Being very mad at Una.
That's kind of how Mab always wakes up, though. To be fair.
Mm-hmm.
We honestly didn't even necessarily remember that we were related, other than the fact that we looked identical.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate for me. Fortunate for Una.
But what does that all have to do with the Fae?
Have you ever wondered? Have you ever wondered why you two don't look like anyone else? And he kind of gestures to himself, and he's just kind of a normal, average, everyday, very boring kind of looking guy.
I always thought it was personal choice.
I mean, for me, technically it is. And she snaps her fingers and looks like Jazzy.
No, that's just unnerving. But my tail looks pretty good.
I wag it a little bit.
Look like an elf. I have long ears. I have a lean, long frame.
Well, I've never met anyone like us or like me that can do what I do. And then she changes back to the form of Una.
Well, everyone's magic is different, Una.
And as you say that, Mab, he snaps his fingers and looks just like you.
Oh no, now there's two of them.
Does everyone have to rub it in that not everyone in the world's a shapeshifter?
Una looks flabbergasted.
I would take it as a compliment. They look pretty good.
Thank you.
Are you a sorcerer too?
We can call myself that for ease of explanations.
Good.
I'm going to tell the four of you something. Two of you, I think, are going to take it better than the other two. And he kind of looks at Jazzy.
Why always me?
I think you're one of the ones that's going to take it better.
I mean, she quiets herself.
I want to be offended, but damn it!
Una again is gonna shoot a look to their sibling.
How much do you two know about the Fae courts?
Literally nothing.
I remember reading a little bit of a book about there's a king, no?
There's a king and there's a queen.
I know that. Or supposedly no one's really ever seen them.
There's multiple courts, isn't there? There's this whole weird hierarchy system.
There are, in fact, two courts. The Seelie Court and the Unseelie Court.
Those words mean nothing.
Shame. And he goes, and he just kind of looks at you and he goes, and if I didn't know better, I would say you two are Unseelie Fae. But that can't be possible.
Don't Fae have, like, wings and are, like, much smaller?
He's just making up words now, he is.
There's a lot of different Faye Una?
I've just seen the pictures in my books.
They aren't all the same. Just like not all elves are the same. Not all humans are the same. I dare say not all
Yes, but like,
jazzy folk are the same.
yes, but all of Jazzy's folk generally have like longer ears. Don't all Fae have wings? Like, can't they fly?
No.
Well, yes. They have their wings when they're in the Phalanx. In this world, they don't.
So you're saying that we're from the Fae court, from the Fae realm?
Not necessarily. If you have Fae in you, I'd say you're at least half Fae.
But
But I'd hesitate to make any sort of specific guesses as to anything other than there's something.
Una again trying to find words.
Look,
It's hard to palate when you've thought you were an elf your entire life.
I've given you kids a lot to think about. Tell you what, I'll get you set up with a room upstairs. Your friends, we've got rooms for everybody. You guys take a night to sleep on it because he kind of looks out the window and it's starting to get dark. It's as you guys had ridden up, it was the sun was definitely setting and now it's really starting to get dark.
Is I'm sorry, by the way, the owner of the inn,
Yeah.
will they be around later?
She'll be around.
Is it possible to talk to her because the captain said that we reminded them of her as well? Do you think he might know anything about us?
He just kind of smiles and tell you what. I'll let her know you're here. You can talk to her in the morning.
Are you currently shapeshifted?
Una now raises an eyebrow when their sibling says that.
That's for me to know, isn't it?
Interesting.
I'll let the owner know that you're here. I got you guys set up with rooms upstairs. You're going to be all the way down. Last, how many rooms? 2, 3, 4?
Mab?
Yes, I think we should share a room tonight, Una.
Yes, thank you.
He looks over at Jazzy and Doc. You two bunkin'?
I don't like what you're insinuating.
I've got my shell. You know what they say. Home is where the heart is.
Normally Una would laugh at this, but Una is like uncharacteristically like close to Mab and is like kind of like trying to hold Mab's hand. Like Una seems very freaked out.
Real quick, I didn't want to interrupt during the talk. While concentrating on the twins, would there have been a chance that Jazzy could have tried to reach under and behind the bar to grab a bit more or whatever she's drinking?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Give me a sleight of hand. Oh, yeah. You managed to find a pitcher that smells almost exactly like what you're drinking. And you're able to top off your glass, no problem.
I didn't want to interrupt while we were discussing important things. So, but yeah, full glass. Okay.
Yes. Oh, yes. Glass is topped off, and you still smell like you're drinking a dumpster fire.
I don't like what you're insinuating, but in the the word that I can't think of right now. It's cheaper to have one room.
Okay. Head upstairs. Third door on the left, and he looks at the twins. Third door on the right, and he looks at Jazzy and Doc. We'll discuss payment in the morning. Don't worry about it. Your keys will be in the room, or in the lock for the room. Don't worry. Nobody except you can use them.
Thank you for the hospitality.
That means if we
Darling.
leave really early, we don't have to pay at all.
Jazzy, I don't think you'll be getting up early any. You know what? You have a good night. You enjoy yourself, Jazzy. Tonight is all about you.
Una in like a very like they don't seem like they're kind of focused. They seem like kind of like on autopilot right now. But they say that they'll try to like I'll try to pay for the lodging with performances like I've done in the past.
Oh,
Yes, that's fine, Una, darling. But can you go make sure the room is prepared before I go up?
Yeah, of course, of course, Mab. Sorry. Again, Una seems like very uncharacteristically like civil and nice to Mab right now, and then Una's gonna go check.
Few rose petals on the pillow, I'm sure.
Would be fantastic. And Mab's gonna wait for everyone else to leave.
Una's actually gonna fluff Mab's pillows, like that's how out of it she is.
Aw.
I love that for Mab.
Yeah, you head up, Una, and the room is nice. You know, it's two beds, soft pillow, soft blanket, soft mattress, small dresser. Nothing too fancy. There is an attached bathroom, and it seems that there's appears to be hot water on demand.
Probably for one of the first times since like they've been on this plane, Una's gonna be in their like actual true form now. Once they're in the room alone.
All right, Jazzy and Doc, so you guys head up after Una.
Doc, I'll reach you up the stairs. I'll even give you a halfway head start this time.
oh, we've been here before, and Doc makes his way at a slow pace up the stairs.
Oh, I love
Jazzy's
that.
just standing there, kind of tapping her foot, like rapidly. 1, 2, 3. Okay, go! And she does a rabbit hop, which is 10 feet, and pretty much closes the distance instantly.
No drunk stumbling this time.
I don't know. I'll make a
Man,
dexterity
never-
check.
Wow, now that you said it, yeah, you're fine.
Aha! You almost beat me that time, but not good enough.
I'm gonna get you one of these days.
Maybe when I nap, Doc. Maybe when I nap.
Yeah, so you head into the room, Jazzy, and it's nice. It's, again, soft beds, soft pillows, soft blankets, attached bathroom.
Jumped on
Everything-
every bed in the room.
Well, there's 2 beds in the room, one for you, one for Doc.
Yep, jumped on both of them.
There's a closet with winter gear. Oh, this applies for you as well, Una. There's a closet with winter clothes inside, much thicker than what you guys are wearing now.
Oh, baby, let's go.
After a few minutes, Mab, you and the bartender are alone, and he goes back to polishing a glass.
My sibling is not always emotionally prepared for things, but you're intriguing, and I'd like to ask you questions alone, if you don't mind.
Don't mind at all.
What's your name?
Oh,
Mal?
no. I don't think my name is going to be of any importance in this conversation. We both know you have far more interesting questions to ask me.
Why is everyone in this town so name avoidant?
I'm sure you've heard the superstitions with the fairies coming and asking to take your name and you never get it back.
Raggy, they're onto us.
I've never heard of that superstition. Is it something local to your area?
No, it's pretty commonly known. However, most of the locals here, especially when dealing with people who live outside the village, being as still pretty centric to magic as we are here, that's one of those conversations that's usually quite reserved. Most people don't freely give out that information. A lot can be done with a name. Names are powerful.
Well, you don't mind. They think it's only fair that I know yours.
Well, yours was freely given out in the open. I never asked for it.
It's
It was given to me.
unfortunate to be caught unawares.
That seems more of a you problem now, doesn't it?
I think you know a lot, and I'm willing to barter with whatever intrigues you to find out what that is.
As you say, with whatever intrigues you, for an instant, his eyes flash bright, glowing purple before fading back to their normal, what you've now recognized as kind of a boring brown.
What's the difference between the seelie and the unseelie? And why do you think we're unseelie?
Oh, that's simple. They can shapeshift. If you're a twin, you've got to have something.
I can't do that.
No, but you can do something else. I can feel it.
Oh, really? What is that feeling? I can tell you if it's mutual or not.
That feeling tells me I know more about you than you and your sibling do combined. It tells me I have some very important information. And it tells me that I'm in a very, very powerful position right now.
Might be in an advantageous position up on that pedestal now.
Yes, but with this information that I have, if I'm right, and there's always a chance I could be wrong, but if I'm right, well, this means there's so much more to you than anyone, even you and your sibling, realize.
Is he in shadow?
Mm-hmm.
Like, at all? On the floor, behind him?
Mm-hmm. His shadow is reflecting in a couple different spots. You can see the shadow of his hands on the bar top, and then you can see the shadow behind him on the wall from the multiple light sources.
I'm going to keep that in mind. Alright. So what do you want and what are you willing to give?
Well,
I don't like this feeling that someone knows about me that I don't know about myself.
let's just set it as you'll owe me a favor.
Oh, see, that needs parameters.
My dear, you're in no position to be bargaining. Currently, I'm holding all the cards. I can set any hand I want, and you really can't do much about it.
As he finishes saying you can't really do much about it, I shadow stride right behind him with my dagger to his throat.
He doesn't flinch.
No, darling. See, you don't know everything. And I assume you at least trance once in a while in the dark. Will you walk around in the dark from here to your home? Through shadow from here to your room? And I might be there, or I might not be there, but you'll never know. Because when I'm in that realm, my essence doesn't follow through in this one, darling. So if you would please carry on.
He's just casually wiping down a glass.
Nothing? No persuasion? No nothing? Come on.
Go for it. Give me a persuasion. You notice that he seems to almost relax, even with your dagger pressed up against his throat. And you can see him smiling as you threaten him. This just got so much more interesting. Tell me, little Fae. You want to know about the Seelie and the Unseelie courts? Well, the Unseelie work in shadows, work in darkness, work in all things that people would think would be evil. Darkness, shadows, mystery, treachery, all necessary for the function of day-to-day life. You and your sibling clearly are at least half Unseelie Fae, meaning you two walk the shadows, as you've proven to me, which, by the way, very impressive. I would appreciate you removing your dagger from my throat.
I don't know if that's quite safe for me.
And as you say that, the form ripples to something that again feels familiar to you. And the person whose throat you have pinned with your dagger now has periwinkle hair. They have soft lilac skin. And they're about your height. Their ears are long and pointed. And everything about them seems off in this world.
So, you can't tell me, is this you, or are you showing me another example of someone else?
Oh no. I'm giving you my word, one Fae to another, that while you're in my care, while you're in my bar, I will make no moves towards you, your sibling, or your companions for any undue harm.
I will not let my naive sibling be taken advantage of because they have a bright ideology that everybody wants to help them on their quest to find themselves.
I will do my best to not take advantage of your sibling, yourself, or your companions. I make no promises that it won't happen, but it will not be intentional. I will answer some of your questions as honestly and truthfully as I can. And I will do so in plain and simple language. And I give you my word.
I sheathe my dagger and hop back across the bar.
And as you look back at this person, you notice that their features have softened. They no longer appear what would be identified as traditionally masculine. And you notice that their eyes are completely white, with no pupil and no iris.
This form, it's like a funhouse elven exaggeration.
Oh no. You see, I have never identified myself as an elf. I have never identified myself as a human. I have never identified myself as anything other than an Unseelie Fae. I just let the others make assumptions for me.
Does
This
everyone in that plane look like you?
Oh, no, no, no. There are several who look like you, many who look like your sibling, but very few that look like those of this realm. But you have to understand, where I come from, this is normal. To have brown hair and brown eyes and brown skin is bizarre and strange.
How did you get here?
Oh, I was kicked out, forcibly removed, banished, all the fun things. Something about plotting to overthrow the crown or some nonsense like that.
Mab gets very guarded at that.
I didn't actually plan anything. I was framed.
Insight check.
Roll.
I'm not good at insight.
You believe this person when they say they were framed.
Framed by whom?
That I never found out. All I know is I was at home one day, relaxing, preparing for my job as a bartender, when royal guards knocked down my door, dragged me in front of the court, in front of the king and queen themselves, told me I had been accused, tried, and found guilty of treason, and was being banished. Next thing I knew, I woke up in a field, in a ditch, with no memories of who I was, where I had been, or where I had come from. I was found by a group who took me in, took me to a medical area, got me patched up, and sent me on my way.
Get your memories back.
Oh yes, I got all of my memories back.
Wow.
Well, I stumbled across this little village where the original temples of the gods were housed. I went to the gods, as I had heard there was one of order and chaos and one of balance, and I felt I needed some justice and order in my life, so I went to the god and I prayed for my memories to be restored so I would know the truth. And my memories were restored.
Which one did you pray to?
And he smiles at that point, and he passes you a coaster that has a strange symbol on it that almost looks like letters, but you can't quite figure it out. And he says, I prayed to Ashiani, god of order. I would recommend asking Vemri, god of balance, justice, all those things. If you want to find your memories, I would recommend start at the temple to the north. You won't find it anymore. You'll find a tree, and in that tree, you'll find this symbol, and he slides the coaster over again. That tree is all that's left of the original temple. Go there, seek your answers. Maybe the god will be willing to talk to you. Maybe you'll get your answers. And maybe you'll find out why you're really in this little town.
You were banished, and you have no memories. Is that just what happens when you're banished?
I don't know. I've never met anyone else until you and your sibling. I thought I was the only one here.
Who do you think we are?
And he smiles and he says, well, that wouldn't be nearly fun enough to tell you now, would it?
Or it could.
Oh, it could, but now isn't the right time. And so, my dear, is there anything else I can help you with tonight? Perhaps a final drink for the evening?
Yes. A bottle of that wine. To go.
He slides you the bottle, and as you grab it, he walks away into the shadows.
uncork it, drink at least half, and then go up to Una.
It has that same sweet taste that you know you've had before, but you just can't figure out why.
I stop in the hallway outside of Jazzy and Duck's room. Is there any, like, crack under the door?
There would be a little one.
I, like, get down on the ground and I look through the gap to see if I can see any feet or...
No, it's not that big.
I focus...
It's enough to be able to see light and maybe shadows if they're walking around.
I focus on the shadow and I use prestidigitation to make like I do a first, I throw just like a kind of like a dank smell of wolves, and then a quick succession of another one for like a low howl that could be constituted as maybe close, maybe far away, but you don't know.
You're
Mean.
Doc, I don't like this shower thing. It gets water in my ears every time. I don't like it. I don't know why they thought I would like it. Wait. Do you smell that?
Ooh, smell what?
Smell. And did you hear that? And her ear perks up. She's kind of like soaking wet right now, having been fed up with the shower.
And then I throw a third prestidigitation to snuff out the light.
No, you're just an asshole today.
Did that snuff out our light?
Mm-hmm.
Jazzy, I've read stories about this. It could be a ghost.
Screw this.
I get up and I walk in our room.
Just because I can.
Uh-oh.
The gem around her neck that she doesn't take off suddenly sheds bright light in a 30-foot radius to fill up the room. I swear I heard a wolf.
You see nothing in your room.
Doc is going to try to listen real closely and see if he can hear anything.
It is now silent.
Oh, I don't like this place. Where's my cup? And she goes over to the dresser, picks up the cup, and just finishes what's in it.
We'll be okay, Jazzy. I'll keep us safe, and you know, the innkeeper isn't going to let anything happen to us, and nothing we can't handle.
Prestidigitation for 3 effects can last for an hour, so I make the howl go like every 10 minutes.
Oh,
You're a bitch.
Can Doc recall a time?
For slut shaming me, and I won't have it.
Who slut shamed you? Jazzy did?
Always.
Has Doc experienced similar effects from Mab before? Like, would they have an idea that this could be them?
You
Oh,
definitely would have
Mab
experienced. You probably would have
Mab
experienced someone like
adores
Una. Definitely some from Una, probably.
yeah. You wouldn't have had this effect from Mab specifically, Doc. You may have had something similar from Una, but you're not 100% sure. Because you
Okay.
haven't seen either one of the twins in a little while.
Okay, so Doc is gonna say nothing to Jazzy other than I'm going to go and make sure that everything is okay. Make sure there's no wolf outside. I'll be right back, Jazzy. You get
You're
settled
gonna-
in.
You can't leave me here.
Jazzy, I'm going outside to see what it is. Don't worry. Everything will be okay. I've never let you down before.
Maybe I should go with you.
Doc is trying to think on the fly and then says, okay, if you want.
She goes to get dressed, and I'm sure Doc leaves while she's going to get dressed.
Yeah, I'll be right outside, and Doc is gonna hurry up over down the hall to Una and Mab's room,
Hurry as
yeah.
much as you can.
and a very gentle knock on the door.
Is Mab back there yet or no?
I would have just stepped in and went over to the table to put my stuff down.
Okay.
Una, be a doll, get the doll.
Una looks at like she was not in her sleep trance, but in a trance. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you also see them for the first time in a while in their regular form, and they take a second to process, and then they snap their fingers and put on the form of Puck, and then Puck will answer the door.
Una, hello. I'm so sorry to bother you. How to put this kindly? I think one of you are driving the rabbit fucking crazy, and I'm going to try to get some sleep tonight. So if it's one of you, please just save it until morning if you can.
I'm sorry, Doctus, what? And you can tell again, they seem very out of it. Whereas normally when they play tricks, when you find them out, they normally laugh it off, they're like, "Ha, you caught me." You know what I mean? This seems uncharacteristic of them.
Down
That
the
they're
hall.
not taking credit for it.
From down the hall, you hear, "I heard it again!"
I'm sorry.
Doc looks really perplexed and says, Una, I'm so sorry. You have yourself a good night. Sweet dreams.
Wait,
And
is Jazzy okay?
Oh yes, everything's okay. Everything's okay. And then when the door closes, Doc is going to say,
Before you leave, when you get
okay.
ready to leave, Puck's actually going to give you a hug. You see that Puck is very weirded out by everything that was told to them.
Doc is going to give Una a very big hug and say, everything's going to be okay, little one.
And then when you close the door, they're going to go back to their true form and just kind of sit with their hands around their knees, on the floor.
And then Doc is going to, as soon as the door closes, Doc is going to say, oh dear. And then he's going to hoof it back down the hall. Okay, Jazzy, I'm ready.
Jazzy swings the door open, sticking her head out, looking both ways. I heard it again.
Doc will sort of be ready to get his claws out in semi-mock fashion, but semi-not, because he's a little weirded out not knowing what the howling is at the moment.
Yep.
You think
And
they got
he's
my
going to
scent?
creep.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, just going to say he's going to start creeping down the stairs. Go ahead.
The one time it actually wasn't Una.
You think they got my scent? I mean, we did walk an awful long way here. I wasn't really trying to hide it and all, but
First of all, no, you were in the shower. You'll be okay. Secondly, who's they?
wolves!
No, don't worry.
They're
just
everywhere.
gonna
I
keep-
can hear them outside.
No, Jazzy, it's okay. All right, there's nothing out in the hallway. I think it's safe to go back inside. We'll lock the door and keep the window sealed, and everything will be fine. I promise.
She literally pulls him back into the room and then starts to pile up furniture in front of the door and the window.
This is the greatest thing ever. I'm sorry.
So glad I have popcorn.
This was so worth it. Thank you for this.
And then when we're back inside the room, Doc is gonna, because he sleeps inside of his shell, he's gonna take the pillows and blankets from his bed and make a little pillow fort on Jazzy's bed so she can feel more safe and stuff.
Oh, she's
Aw.
under the bed.
Oh.
She,
Okay.
She's literally under the bed.
Jazzy's having none of this.
Hee hee.
You're just a monster.
Whatever.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and pass the night.
Well, I want to talk to my Sibby.
Yes.
What do you want to be called right now?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, it does. It's your name.
What do they mean? We like? How could we not be from here?
To try and make their sibling more comfortable, Mab will also drop Mab for their elven form.
Like Una's just gonna kind of like rest their head out like on you.
Mm.
Una. Are we going with Una? Whatever's gonna calm me the fuck down. We're projecting a lot of emotions right now, Una, and we don't have a lot of answers to go with them.
If we're not from here, how come no one ever like tried to find us? How did we get here?
Well, simply means that someone doesn't care enough to find us, and that's fine. Or we could have been banished from the Fey realm, never to come again. Our friend down at the bar was indeed shape-shifted, as I thought. And their looks are quite striking, and honestly, very similar to this form we're in now, that we haven't shown the others.
How do we get our memories back like they did then?
They prayed to a god.
Can we do this?
They pray to Ashiomi. Got their memories back more than they anticipated. That's when the temples were standing and the gods were around. They
So we
did tell
might be able to do that.
What's she saying? They told me, however, that they recommend we actually pray to Vemry for balance restoration instead, and that there's actually a tree with Vemry's symbol still carved in it up the way.
Can we go there
It's
first thing tomorrow?
part of the last remaining bit of the temple. I mean,
We're here for a few days before we're supposed to meet those siblings, so can we go tomorrow?
yes. Daylight is... I was honestly itching to go right now, but I don't know what's out there in the dark. Apparently there are wolves, and that... wouldn't want to run into any of those.
Oh yes. So there's wolves. Oh no.
I think it would be best to go with Jazzy and Doctus anyway tomorrow.
It's weird that nobody wants to give you the name when you ask. Isn't it just polite society? Hi, hello, I'm so-and-so, what's your name? And then everyone is... They won't give us your name. Fucking baffling, and I don't like it.
This whole place seems weird.
Well, they also told me there aren't any more of them, so that is the spinster.
Of course. Well, tomorrow we're gonna get some answers, hopefully.
I don't know, she's very... They were very close to the cuff with their knowledge.
Well, I was thinking hopefully with the tree giving us some memories back.
Maybe. Don't get your hopes up, Luna. I don't want you to throw a fit when you're disappointed.
I know. Let's try to get some rest. I fluffed your pillow for you, actually.
Thank you. It is a bit drafty in here. Did you crack a window?
Yeah, of course, ma'am. And again, very uncharacteristically, like Una does, like kind of like whatever you need or want from them right now.
Fire's going a little bit low. Where the pillow mint? I gave you the bag.
I pointed at the shelf.
Una, the mints are in the bag, so you can put them on the pillow.
I'm sorry. I grab it and toss it to you.
I gave you the bag because I didn't want to have to do my own pillow mint.
I'm sorry. Let's
You
try.
know, asking so many times really stresses me out, Una.
Una again just goes over to you and hugs you again, very uncharacteristically.
I don't want you to touch me. That's a bit much.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna lay down.
You do that, Una. Take a mint. Una, can you sleep next to the window? It's a bit drafty in here now.
Una would at this point. Honestly, you're gonna hear like Una on and off sob throughout the night.
Aww.
Like he's gonna try to be like quiet about it because he doesn't want to wake you or anything. But yeah, they're gonna
Mab
like
is
on and off.
very in tuned sleeper. You know, the kind that like anything can wake them up.
Sucks to be Mab tonight.
Really, anytime Mab hears you, they'll kind of prestidigitate a light, like music box tinkering sound. Like we didn't have one in our adoptive house, but it's a tune that I've carried my whole life without ever knowing where I got it from.
Fair.
And it seems to soothe us. So I'll just, because it's like we lost the music box somewhere along the way, but we still have this song.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that works.
All right.
Also, we just talk about how cool Doctus is. Like, why is Doctus got to be so cool?
Okay, I love you too.
Doctus just out here being the coolest little Doctus that there ever damn was.
Just being a wholesome turtle.
Just being the best turtle that's ever turtled.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So he's totally cool.
He's totally
He is totally enough for the Turtle Club.
Yeah, oh, damn right. Don't you fucking forget it. One does not simply out-turtle the turtle.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right. So it's the next morning. The sun has risen, and you guys are hearing noise and chatter from downstairs in the inn as you're woken up. The night passed. Jazzy occasionally being woken up by the sounds of wolves until they faded after a little while. With Doc keeping her safe. Elvin and Puck passing the night. Roughly. But the night had passed with no danger present. And you're woken in the morning by the smell of fresh-baked bread, coffee, more tea, and the sounds of chatter from below you.
I get up and I'm gonna be when I get out of bed I'm in my map form and I look over at Una or Puck or whomever's there.
They're back as Una.
Alright, Una, it's morning.
Let's go. I want to go to this tree that you were telling me about.
Right. Before that, we should probably eat a meal and clean ourselves up.
Uh, I'll skip the meal. I'll be waiting for you outside.
Una, you should eat.
I don't feel
You
like
know,
it.
you get cranky when you don't eat, and then when you're cranky, you're insufferable because all you want to do is play tricks on people to make yourself feel better, but it never works because it's just empty happiness.
I'll bring something with me.
What if they don't have any goodie bags to go?
I have rations.
But there's actual food here, Una.
I can't focus on eating right now. I want the idea of actually getting my memories back.
But you might not. If the gods are gone, they might not even be there to listen. I know these people said that they might still be around, but if they're around in humanoid corporeal forms, then I wonder if that's taking all the magic, and that's why the magic's not working.
If what they said is true and we're actually from somewhere else, I want to know why no one's ever came looking for us. Or how we even got here.
It might not be that easy to get from there to here, and you might not like that answer.
Still want it. I'll meet you outside.
Oh, don't forget on the way out, ask for a goodie bag to go. They like to be called Big Daddy.
Yes, of course, Mab. I'm
Say good
gonna.
morning to Big Daddy for me.
I'm also gonna pass by Doctus and Jazzy's room in the morning before I go downstairs and knock.
Yeah, I would go over to their room to kind of tell them what's the what.
I will knock on Doctus and Jazzy's door.
Nice.
Are we already awake at this point?
I'm assuming so because I'm assuming the way this was brought up.
I mean, I
look down at I look down in the crack to prestidigitation again, but this time it's a really loud crowing of a rooster.
I would say that
pokes
you're
his head out
both.
of the shell.
Yeah, I'd say you're both pretty thoroughly awake at this point.
Doc's head comes out of his shell and says, "Hey, knock it off!"
That wasn't me for once.
Jazzy throws her
Good
cup at the door.
morning.
Jazz, you throw your cup at the door. You both hear a thunk as the liquor glass hits the door.
Stop breaking others' property, Jazzy. That's rude.
Doctus.
Doc gets up to open the door for them and lets them in.
Doctus.
Well, first, without looking back, he says, "Jazzy, are you decent?"
It's too late now.
Fair enough. Doc swings the door wide open.
Are you dead?
Are you having a panty party?
She's just.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would. That's why I asked.
She's just kind of wrapped in like long strips of kind of dark grayish cloth that kind of fit like shorts and a crop top on her lean Haragon frame.
Doctus, Jazzy. Me and Mab found out that we might have a lead to finding out a little bit more about our past. Would you two be willing to come with us?
Of course. Do tell me more.
I look over to Mab to explain.
Can we come in briefly?
Of course.
Yeah, just make sure there's no wolves out in the hallway.
I make a big show of turning around and looking left, looking right, looking up, and looking down. All clear.
Okay. She starts to gather up her bits and bobs.
I did hear those wolves. I'm astounded they didn't warn us. Well, I guess the captain wearing a pelt should have been warning.
Yeah, I figured. I took that as a warning. By the way, Doc motions to Jazzy's bed. Welcome to Fort Doc.
I love it. It looks cozy. Is that what your panty party was?
Yes, have a seat. Join us.
I want to
have you wiped
insight,
up
man.
yourself?
You wanna try to insight Mab and
Even though I'm not good at insight at all.
Why are you inciting me?
Because Mab's being awfully complimentary and nice to Jazzy this morning, and she finds it suspicious.
That's low key kind of fair.
Complimenting you? It's Fort Doc.
And I don't know. We haven't had the quota. We haven't had the quota of insults in the last 5 minutes.
I was going to say something about your pajamas, but I thought it couldn't get much worse. Well, go ahead, incite me, doll.
Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. Why not too terrible?
Ooh.
You know what? I'm gonna take the 7 because, yeah, I choose to fail it.
you choose to fail.
Yeah, tell me what I see if I choose to fail. Because she did check for wolves. So Jazzy's giving her credit for that one.
You believe that Mab is honest, that they have checked for wolves, that they are very surprised that no one warned you guys about the wolves in the area.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. We did all that talking with him about magic and everything else. And I mean, the actual real threats out there, he didn't even mention those. It's just,
Yeah. I did hear at the bar last night after you all went up. And I was speaking to Big Daddy. That's what they like to be called. They wouldn't give me a name, but some interesting nickname that they have. That they also have copious amounts of avalanches and mudslides.
can we just
I
go home?
I'm sorry. What do you call him?
He would like that's what everyone references him, is Big Daddy.
Doc just doesn't say anything and lets Jazzy go on.
He can call me unimpressed.
I'm just saying, if a simple good morning, Big Daddy would probably go a long way with getting you some free stuff.
Well, let's try it. Doc looks straight at Mab. Good morning, Daddy. Big Daddy.
Oh, one more time, I blinked.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Good morning, Big Daddy.
Ooh, I got a shiver and an urge to give you a free night.
A free what?
A free night at the inn.
Oh, Jazzy, you should try it.
I think I'll stick to the 5-finger discount.
While you guys all check up on everything, I'm gonna go downstairs and try to take care of the arrangements for the I'll stay here as well as get ready to leave. I'd like to make our trek as soon as possible.
You make sure you haggle with him because they didn't tell us about all the dangers, wolves and things.
Don't worry,
want a
Jazzy, I'll
discount.
take care of it.
I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard.
But yeah, I'm gonna head downstairs while you continue to fill them in.
Oh, very good. All right. So Ona, you head downstairs, and it is busy. It's not bursting at the seams busy, but there's people at almost every table. The bar is decently filled, and you notice that there are a lot more people than there were last night. You see some of the same adventure-y type people that you saw last night, but you also see more of the usual townsfolk kind of people as well.
I'm going. Do I see the person that reminds me of me?
Yeah, they're behind the bar like they were the night before.
I'm going to approach them.
All right.
I'm going to I'm gonna approach them. Um, Darling, I don't believe I got your name. I wanted to ask you if I could make arrangements to cover our stay here.
And he just kind of catches your eye, doesn't really say anything, and just kind of will call last night on me.
Yes, but we do need to stay here for a few days to meet up with these visitors that come in the middle of the night, as well as we're going to make a trek to that tree that we were told about. I would be glad to perform for you for the tavern for free as a way of compensating our stay here.
And he just kind of cocks an eyebrow and just kind of, yeah, so I suppose that could suffice. We haven't had any performers come through this way in a while. It would be good to get some entertainment in the bar. It can get kind of quiet at night. What kind of performances do you have?
Musical, theater, comedy, whatever you require. And if I can convince my sibling, even we could even play a tune or two.
Well, I think that sounds rather delightful. Tell you what, we will call tonight on me, and then when you get back from your journey, we'll discuss method of payment for any further nights that may need to be attended to.
Thank you kindly. I bow. Also, may I have do you have any food that would be easy to bring on this little journey?
And he thinks for a second and he kind of, well, we have bread rolls. Those are pretty easy to travel with. Dried fruit, dried fish, dried meat, dried berries. Don't recommend those.
A few rolls will do quite nicely.
Okay. He pulls over. He heads into the kitchen and brings out two bundles that smell like fresh bread.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Um,
Anything?
I
Anything else?
believe the others are going to come down and possibly eat. I'll be waiting outside.
Not going to have anything yourself?
No, I'm too anxious to eat. Thank you.
Well, one of the many lessons I learned from my mother, God's rest her soul, it's harder to be anxious when you have a cup of tea in your hands. Let me get you something.
Okay.
And he heads back
I'm also
into.
going to use my telepathy and inform Mabe that the rooms are dealt for tonight and hopefully for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
And I tell you to tell the others.
I reiterate.
Excellent. So he heads back into the kitchen, just waiting. And Mab, are you and Jazzy and Doc coming down now? Or are you going to wait a little bit? What are we thinking?
I mean, I was good to go. We just wanted to wake them up and let them know what the deal was. Oh, so I would just reiterate kind of a little bit of what happened last night. Not the whole story. Just that there's a high possibility that we're from a different plane and that we could have that information restored to us if we pray at this place.
Mm-hmm. Would you have mentioned which god it was?
I would have said memory.
Okay. All right. So as you guys head down and you find it's bustling. moving and shaking. More people than there were last night. You see Una sitting at the bar, a cup of tea in front of her that the bartender had brought. You see him chatting with a few other people. You also see that Una has a couple bundles with her. And she's just sitting there, quietly waiting.
Why the long face, Una?
Nothing. I'm just waiting to get ready to go.
Thought there'd come a day where I couldn't possibly ever miss you doing something fucking stupid. But this whole drab personality is even much more annoying than your normal one.
I'm sorry. I can't. I can't get my mind off of this.
Well, either get information or you don't. And it's not like not learning anything is really going to change anything for us at the moment.
That's fair.
So without this information, you're still, unfortunately, my twin. You still like to play childish games with people. Still get excited by the rabbit's hippity hop.
Their stories are just so wonderful.
I think they're all lies. There's no way people tolerated her for that long.
No way. Jazzy would never.
You mean turncoat? But don't tell her that. Oh, there are plenty of things you are, but mopey is not one of them. So, chop chop. Eat a roll, drink a tea, put your smile back on your face, get a little pep in your step, play a prank on someone if you must, and get out the door so we can get going.
I'm ready to go.
I simply don't know if I can be seen with you if you're that melancholy.
Fine. With that, they change into Puck.
Just in the middle of the bar?
Yeah.
Right here, out in the...
They literally turn into Puck. And say, well, I'm waiting for you. Let's get a move on.
You
I
hear...
didn't know your idiocy reached this far.
You hear people talking in very loud murmurs. And nobody is saying anything directly, but you are all hearing whispers about your little group.
Puck is going to take turns shifting into each person that he sees talking, and then pretend to whisper to his sibling, and then turn back into Puck. And then Puck looks at them all and sees, see, I can do that too.
Oh, goody. Okay. Okay.
What did I do?
You'll find out, don't worry.
Uh-oh. Rip rope.
I'm just going to walk out the door and not even wait for Puck because he's a fucking idiot.
Puck's gonna walk out too.
So, Jazzy and Doc, you have now witnessed this happen. People are openly staring at you and watching them. And you can hear loud whispers.
What are these whispers saying?
That you're mingling with witches, there's madness afoot here. No sane person would ever be able to have powers like that. They have to be up to something. That's Torn Throat the pirate. She's known for ripping heads off those who displease her. Why would they be traveling with someone like that if they were up to any sort of good?
I see.
And a shapeshifter no less.
Doc is gonna
So noble.
Doc is gonna give them all a reassuring smile, happy as always, and then looks down to Jazzy and says, "Well, are you gonna get some food, or do you want to join the party right away?"
We might as well go outside. I'm not hungry.
Fair enough. After you.
And she goes.
All right.
And Doc is gonna give everybody a friendly wave as we leave.
Jazzy shoulder checks someone as she walks out the door.
Doc will stop to apologize to the person and say, I promise we're here with good intentions. I know it doesn't seem like it, but you just gotta have faith." And then he'll walk after Jazzy.
The person that you shoulder checked does not say anything but just continues on their way. All right.
Jazzy, you really should consider being friendlier to strangers.
Well, you see how they look at me. I mean, it's warranted, but...
I know, but what happened to turning a new leaf? Broader horizons. Better days. Not looking over your shoulder.
The horizons were broader on the sea.
Can you be mad if you earned that nickname?
I did earn it.
Right, so
saying I
why
didn't?
you get offended?
Okay, guys, let's talking more moving. Puck just starts jumping around.
I pick up a rock and I throw it at.
Seeing you throw the rock at Puck, Puck's gonna shapeshift into you. It's gonna hit like their face, whatever, and Puck's gonna be like, now is hitting yourself any way to be.
It's
Before
time to wrap
turning
up.
back to Puck.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Doc,
Now, come on, Mab. You said you wanted me to lighten up.
I
Envy
don't
brings out the asshole.
I don't think catching a rock with your face was the right idea, Una.
I am Puck. Silly.
Puck. Well, I
And
guess
then-
Puck likes getting hit by
Wear that
rocks.
look. You're such a fucking a-hole.
Now that's just very rude. Come on, we gotta get going. Let's go.
Doing
Okay,
this
Puck.
for you, you could have gratitude for them.
I'll have gratitude when when this thing works.
When what thing works?
This tree thing.
Call me a brat.
We're going to see a tree?
We're going to a temple. Sort of.
A
It used to
temple
be a
for
temple.
tree?
It's a tree that was part of a temple. We're hoping it has some residual magic because Puck is very invested in learning about themselves.
Well, this could be an interesting character arc for Puck. Maybe some maturing, and maybe they'll learn something about themselves.
Or they could get
They
eaten
could
by
be
a wolf.
worse. Oh,
Well-
yes, those nasty wolves. Hopefully there's none out here.
Well, regardless, life seems to be taking us in that direction, and who are we to say no when it comes to the wonders of what may come next?
Let's go. Also, Jazzy, can you tell us more tales while we're walking?
Well, sure. You know, one time as part of the crew, we were fighting against this weird sea creature that could never step on land, and we had a meeting, and he had to stand in a bucket full of water, and it was just one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
Was
You
that
know-
was that the one that you told me about with the squid face?
Yeah.
Oh,
These
I
little...
love this one.
had all these tentacles on his face and talked in this weird rhythm and accent.
I love your stories. I wish I got to be out on the sea having adventures like you.
Well, it wasn't always the best.
No, it wasn't.
Your need for endless adventures while we're here and not in the capital of a city somewhere, plushly living it up in a capitol building.
Why would we want to do that? That sounds boring. Think of all the abilities we have.
Delightful.
That sounds with our talents, that would be such a waste.
With what talents would we be wasting?
Well, one, my clear talent to entertain everyone.
You're not even a bard. Just make me laugh.
I don't need to be a bard to entertain people.
Yeah. You need to be one to be good at it.
Well, besides all that, there's too many eyes in the city, too many stocks, too many manacles. It's just
Steve
not...
Gazzy gets it. It's
I
also
mean, if
very
you
hard
tried not
trick.
stealing everything, you wouldn't be worried about stocks and manacles.
I don't steal everything, just
really?
something now and then to keep up my reputation.
You had no problem me using trickery to steal for us when we first arrived here.
Good.
Do you remember that, Mab?
No, don't remember it at all.
Of course not. Oh, come on. You remember some of the characters I played and with that I snapped my fingers and I turn into a cloaked male with eyes that are very blue. I was like, come on, remember that time I played that guy Gayson and I was stealing stuff?
This is my least favorite form. He's so hideous.
No, I thought your least favorite form was this one, and then I snapped my fingers and I turned into an elf with white hair. I found this one to be quite aloof and kind of bossy and bitchy, most of them found.
But she's so beautiful.
Well, yes, I was told that quite often. I thought I was a very good Milana.
I think your impressions could get better. Personally.
I mean, it
I
was
think they're a
work
little
in progress.
flat. I think they lack a little distinct.
What about the gnome one? And then I turn into a small old gnome that carries a pet rat.
No, this one
It was
wasn't
a very
any
good one. And Jeffrey,
Do you
my
remember
dear-
people just kept trying to steal you and put you in a bag?
I do. It was quite unfortunate. Thankfully, Jeffrey nibbled his way out through it, and with the grace of my Lord Danielle, we were able to get through it.
You don't even know who that is.
I don't know. I don't need to know who it is. I just need to believe I know who it is, and then make them believe I know who it is. And then I turn back into Una. See, love, I had lots of fun. It'd be a waste for me to be in the capital.
Should I be worried? I'm almost starting to understand them both.
You're a lot more
You know,
similar than you think.
Always the best, but no need to make fun of the language barrier.
She starts cursing in Sylvan.
We understand Sylvan.
Yup.
So do I.
Yeah.
Oh.
We start cursing with you with Sylvan.
Actually, we sound very refined. It's the King Sylvan.
Yeah.
Actually, as the four of you do start talking in Sylvan, Mab and Una, you do notice that you are speaking a slightly different dialect than what Jazzy and Doc are speaking. It's very similar, but it is distinctly different.
Have we ever talked in Sylvan
See,
before then, or no?
That's not the word for crabapple.
Yeah, it is.
No,
No,
it's not.
No, it's not.
Learn from some backwater fairies.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
You're the word for
Ew,
crab
don't
apple.
give any airtime to turfs here.
I have no idea what you just said, but I don't think it's good.
Do you
Do you
kiss your
not
butt
do you
with
not
a kobold?
understand Sylvan?
No, guys, look, the syntax is off. You're not using the right endings for the words.
This is gonna be the most hilarious walk to a tree ever. It's gonna be us like fighting about who's speaking Sylvan right.
Speaking of walking to a tree, as you guys walk, you're walking for a while, and the air around you is a little thicker and a little colder. As you
Bloody
come
hell.
to an area that's a little out of the way, you walk for a while, and Mab, occasionally you would see glyphs similar to what was on your coaster, with arrows pointing in various directions.
I will follow them.
It was on a coaster.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the picture for the tree ruin or whatever?
Yep.
Now, but you sure you know the way, love?
I need everybody to roll perception checks for me.
Oh, Lord, give me strength. Oh, I actually have these. Go Jazzy.
Okay. So, as you all get closer, you hear. Nice. You hear a sound. All of you hear it. Almost like the sound of wind chimes. Jazzy, you hear this melody more than anyone else does. You can actually pick out the various notes of this melody, whereas the others, it sounds more fleeting, just at the edges of your senses. Doc, you also recognize the sound of this melody, and you recognize it as the melody of Vemry, which is known to you as Vemry is your god. And you recognize this, and it pulls you forward into the woods as you're standing above this area with some overlooks, not necessarily cliffs specifically, but there are definitely some steeper drops if you don't know where you're looking. The snow here is much thicker than it was, and the air is much colder. You can all see your breath, but because I'm assuming everyone put on the warmer clothes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I
No,
don't-
Puck's too stupid.
No, I definitely did.
I got fur.
I got a
roll me
robe on.
Both of you give me constitution checks, please.
Oh, rip. Rip doctors.
Constitution check, not a save, Doc.
Dave. Saved by the... Oh, wow. Hey, doctors don't fuck around.
So you're both... Doc, since you still have the ball bearings, you're doing pretty okay. Jazzy, this is a little colder than you expected, but you're not too cold.
And I'm not going to show it.
Doc, you're doing just fine. And the air around you is crisp. And there's almost a brittle sense to it as you take deep breaths. And everything around you is quiet, except for the occasional bird song. The trees around, some are broken and fallen over, seemingly frozen in half. And there are a few snow piles about. And as you look deeper in, you start to notice, all of you, that there seems to be something drawing you deeper into this wooded area. Something is pulling you further in.
Can we distinguish what that feeling is?
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
So, Jack of all trades lets me add 1 to things I'm not proficient in. Yay. Not that it helps a whole lot.
16 on my Arcana.
The one that don't like magic.
Yeah. So, Jazzy and Una, you both recognize this. Una, you're not sure why you recognize it. Jazzy, you know why you recognize it. Because this is similar magic to what Doc has. There's a connection. And actually, Una, I'll go ahead and I'll give this to you as well. You recognize it as magic, similar magic that Doc has used. And you both get the sense that you are standing on sacred ground. You are standing where one of the temples stood.
Doc, you can stop doing the thing.
Doc's tail is just flapping, like wagging under his robe. He's got a big smile on his face, just taking in the ambiance as he feels everything around him.
Doc, is this you, or are we where the temple once stood?
Oh, this is definitely sacred ground.
Well, stop it. It's making my fur tingle.
I don't think that's what's
Doc-
making your fur tingle.
Doc isn't. I don't think Doc's doing anything, love. So, are we here? Do we just pray here?
Wait, are you Una or Puck?
Una. Do we see the tree?
I walk around looking for the symbol.
Okay.
Yeah, Una's gonna split up and also look for it.
Okay. So, what areas are you guys looking in?
I would kind of go to where I feel like I'm sensing the most of this feeling.
Yeah,
Okay.
same, based on like my role.
Okay. So, it tracks deeper into the woods, down the slopes, down into the woods, down deeper into the snow.
Una's gonna like start like running towards it.
Don't. We haven't even looked for wolf tracks yet. Oh, there they go.
You're so good at tracking things, Juzzykins.
Yeah, Una's literally gonna start sprinting in the direction she thinks it's coming from.
Okay. So you would feel it down, almost all the way down towards this area. You're not 100% sure because it does feel like it's a wide area, but definitely down towards, further down where you can see.
It's just like, how big's the drop off here?
The drop off there, about where you're standing, is about 10 feet.
Una's gonna like try to like slide down the cliff without like a huge fall.
Okay. Give me an athletics check.
Oh yeah, that -1 in strength about to come in real handy. 11 could have been worse.
You're able to make it down without taking any damage. You stumble and you tumble and you fall, but you don't take any damage.
Okay. If anyone's like around enough to hear, they'll hear like Una like grunting a little bit as like they, occasionally get hurt a little. And then Una's just gonna keep running towards the area to see if he finds the symbol.
Hysterically laughing at Una's fall.
Jazzy just follows the tracks, gets to where Una is. And
yeah, you would definitely see signs of, oh shit, that's a cliff.
how far down was the cliff?
10 feet.
Oh, I'm just gonna pop.
Hashtag rabbit life.
What? What, did you trip over a root?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Totally. Absolutely. Couldn't have been
Doubled
anything
over
else.
in hysterics. Oh god, that was so funny, Una. Do it again.
Una's like ignoring you as she's like as she's looking for the tree right now to see if any of these trees have the sign.
Okay. go ahead and everybody who's down that way, give me investigation rolls. Doc, what are you doing at the moment?
Doc is taking everything in as he, I guess, is going to join the rest of the party.
Okay. You are filled with a deep sense of serenity and contentment. This is something that you have felt only a few times in recent years with magic going haywire. Doc, you are too distracted to try to investigate anything.
Okay, fair enough.
Jazzy, you find no wolf tracks. The only tracks that you can find at the moment are Una and Mab.
That doesn't mean they're not being tricky. I know. I've seen dogs in trees.
You see dogs in trees? Just imagining the wolves climbing up the tree, just like some Looney Tunes bullshit. They're just up the tree, waiting for you to go by.
Just slowly draw the cutlass out of its little loop that holds it on my belt.
As you're wandering around, you do start to see wolf tracks.
See there!
You can't tell where they're coming from, though. They just kind of appear.
Now I'm suspicious. But not really.
The wolves have magic! It's the only possible explanation!
They can drop down from the trees, obviously.
They were up the tree! They're in the trees! Alright. Mab, how far in are you going when you investigate?
I'm just like intuitively going to kind of walk by each cluster, and if I don't get a good feeling, I'm just going to kind of keep walking and not spend too much time looking around the trunk. So just looking for whatever tree gives me that like feeling.
Okay. You are drawn up more towards this direction in a very strong sense. And as you approach this little clearing with this frosted over pond, on this tree here that appears to have recently been cut down, you see on the trunk the symbol you were looking for.
Instead of yelling, because that could alert the wolves, I'm going to telepathically let Una know that I indeed found it first.
I'm running over there.
I am superior, obviously.
So, do we just sit here and pray?
I suppose that's how talking to gods work. I don't use godly magic, so I don't really know what you're supposed to like. What the tone is? How do you address them? I'm not sure.
Doctus.
You probably have to get on your knees or something.
Doctus is probably Doctus is meditating right now.
Damn. All right, Una's gonna try to pray.
All right. Go ahead and give me religion.
Oh Jesus!
You got this.
Oh, 18.
Yeah.
Not
do
bad.
this.
All right. So, Una, what kind of prayer stance, I guess, are you taking?
She's going to be like on her knees with like her hands in like the praying position.
Real classic prayer pose.
Yeah, kind of like that. But like awkwardly, like she thinks this is what she's supposed to do.
Right.
Like she doesn't know, like the physical stuff feels like she's just kind of trying to do what she thinks she's supposed to. But like the mental and emotional thing is like legit. Like he is like really like, focused and like taking it super seriously, like asking for answers for them and their sibling.
Okay. So as you're kneeling and you're praying, at first you don't get any sense of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you've taken this prayer position, you're pouring your heart into it, nothing is happening. And then all of a sudden, as you let go of what you thought was the quote correct position and you lean back, you
Okay.
hear a voice in your head.
And I'm assuming this is not my sibling's voice.
Correct.
Okay.
This is a voice you've never heard before. And this is a voice that kind of reminds you of Doc. And this person speaks very calm,
Okay.
very cool. And they just ask you, but they also sound like they're very far away, like they're far down a tunnel. So you're almost getting a little bit of an echo.
Okay.
And they ask you, "You have called to me, child. What can I answer for you?"
I want my memories back. And assuming you're who I think you are, I want to know where you are and if we can help you. Your people miss you and are wondering where you are and why you left.
It takes a minute for the voice to respond, and they say, "At this time, I can answer one question. I can grant you your memories, or I can tell you my location. I do not have the power to do both."
Son of a bitch.
Yes?
This is the god of balance, right?
Uh-huh.
Your location. And Una's like visibly like tearing up as she like mentally says the location thing.
Una, what's wrong?
And as Mab asks that, a vision fills your mind, Una, as suddenly you're jerked almost out of your own body.
Okay.
And you're pulled north, far north. It's colder, it's more snowy, it's harsher. There are monsters in your way. And you come to an opulent castle that seems entirely out of place, for it's green and it's warm. And there's grass in the lawns. There's not a flake of snow anywhere. And you're pulled into the castle, and you're pulled down, down, down below the castle, deep into the darkest depths of the earth, where you can no longer see, but you feel yourself contained, as if in a cage. A small, tiny cage where you can barely move, you can barely breathe, you can barely think. And then moments later, you are thrust back into your own body.
And the voice is gone, I'm assuming.
Yep. Roll me a Constitution save, please.
Didn't even get an actual real location, and I missed out on my memories. Motherfucker.
It's
You feel nauseous, but you don't vomit.
Una's gonna like
you
scream when she gets back to her body, I guess. Like first off from like the shock of all that.
Una, hello, you're pale, you're shaking. You look like you had a bad sandwich.
I know where the god is being kept. They're trapped.
Okay, but what about your memories?
They gave me a choice. They said I could either find out where they were or get my memories back.
Why didn't you ask for your memories? You were so excited.
Because I thought what you would do.
I mean,
You
I
would,
am a good example.
you would have done what was best for the realm and for the others.
But that's very un-Una.
I didn't know if we would both get a chance or how it would work.
Move aside.
And the point, the me having my memories back and you not having yours is worthless anyway.
To me.
Una's gonna just kind of sit on the ground like really frustrated and let you do your thing.
I take the symbol that I've been staring at since I got it last night. And I kind of hold it to my chest and lean into the tree and I call out for memory.
Give me a religion check, please.
I'm bowls at this, but here we go. Yeah, bowls.
Oh Jesus!
Could I get help because my balance twin were literally balanced.
Yeah, can Una help? I guess. Also, I guess Una might try to pray to the thing, pray to the vessel again.
Una, you're not able to help, but you do have a cleric nearby of this god who might be able to help.
Oh, fair.
Don Una needs to go consult an expert. And I'm gonna go find. I'll talk to a friend. And I'm going to sit down in the snow in front of him as he's meditating.
Una's gonna also, while you're doing that, try to pray to one of the other gods.
Okay.
To try to see if one of the other gods can give her memories back.
Mm-hmm.
Do I roll religion again?
Give me just a moment for that one. We'll circle back to you.
Yeah, no worries.
Jazzy, what are you doing at the moment after hearing Una scream? Or are you still wolf hunting?
Hunt those wolves.
Fall asleep, Jazzy.
Did you mute yourself, Jazzy? No, didn't mute.
If you're doomy and you know it, clap your hands. I heard a doomy.
Sorry, I had some lag there. I wasn't getting anything.
Okay. Yeah, they asked what Jazzy's doing when they heard Una scream. Are they still hunting the wolf?
Well, hearing a scream, she'd come running, hopping through the snow. Sword drawn, kind of skids to a stop in the snow, probably covering them both in snow.
Yeah.
What? Where?
I saw where the god is being captive.
Oh, that again.
They showed me a vision. They showed me the place. Much further north.
She kind of just keeps her comment to herself, but obviously kind of holding something back. But right, is it someplace we can walk, or what do we have to do to get there?
I'm assuming we're gonna have to go back to town for me to figure that one out, and I'm gonna have to drive that place to a person.
Most likely.
I'll have to find out from some of the villagers, maybe if they know where the place is.
When you were pulled, Una,
Mm-hmm.
you were pulled very fast, but you were pulled very far.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But like, did I see if I went over like any oceans or anything?
It was too fast for you to tell.
Okay, that's why I'm gonna have to describe the place to like an elder or something. And hopefully, they can tell me what it was. I just know it was north. You said, right?
Uh-huh.
I think our DM literally already told us where we'd be going.
How so?
Waiting for somebody to catch it.
When we were talking to the guard captain, the guard captain mentioned the king had moved into this large, very ostentatious castle up north.
The king is holding the god's ransom?
I
So
would
back to
assume-
my original plan.
Not ransom.
I'm uncharacteristically with Jazzy on the murder plan now. We need to inform the captain then too when we get back.
What he doesn't know won't hurt us.
I don't think it'll be that easy.
You'd be very
Anyway.
surprised. People are very gullible when they don't see you coming with something sharp.
Mab.
Yeah, I have to go talk to
Yeah,
the
see if you can... And I'm gonna try to see if I can connect with one of the other gods.
How would
May
you
not
connect
be
to the other
safe.
gods here? This is just the temple for Vemry.
It's still a place of holy magic. Maybe the other gods would be connected still. I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to
cells.
lose. It's not like I'm gonna get the memories back from that god. I'm gonna pray to the one that gave the memories back to the one that to the original one of the tavern.
Okay. But, Mab, you were going to go talk to Doctus.
I don't want to interrupt any religious rituals, Doc, so I'm just going to sit here with you and let me know when you have a moment.
Doc has a euphoric look on his face, and when he opens his eyes are an even lighter shade of violet, and his voice changes ever so slightly, and he says, "Can you feel them? Have you ever felt something so uplifting? It's been oh so long. It's beautiful."
I'm having trouble connecting, and I think that's the problem. I need to talk to Vemry, but I don't have anything to connect me to them.
Nonsense, you've got me right here. And he extends both of his hands, palm side up.
I reach out palm side down.
Close your eyes and think about what you'd want to say, and talk to Vemry as if you were talking to me, or talk to me as if you were talking to Vemry.
Are you going to make fun of me?
No,
If
no,
I
I
say
won't.
something wrong?
It's just you and I, Mab. Everything's gonna be okay. This is your moment now.
All right, but if you tell Una, I'll never speak to you again.
He chuckles.
Vemry, I know you just talked to my twin, but it wouldn't quite be balanced if you didn't take time to talk to me. I need to ask you a favor, not for myself, but for Una, who you just talked to. Again, if anyone mentions this to Una, I will deny everything and then cut the small toe off the bodies. My twin has been looking for answers to what happened to us, to make sense of who we are, what we're doing here. And if one of us can get those answers, I think it would give Una more peace of mind. And Una's memories can help me fill in my memories. Who knows, maybe I'll learn something from a different perspective, and I swear to God, if that leads this circle, I will walk south and never come back.
I can draw a bigger circle.
You're not here.
As you mentioned, walking south and never coming back, you feel a presence connect with you. And you hear a voice in your head, and it sounds similar to Doctus's voice. That same calm, soothing quality, but it's as if you're talking to him down a tunnel. And the voice says, "Yes, child, I have spoken to your twin, and I will tell you what I told them. I can grant one request. You would ask for memories returned. I can return all of the memories to one of you, or half of your memories to each of you."
Please give Una all their memories.
And you feel the voice pause. You would sacrifice this opportunity to regain half of your memories for your sibling to gain all of theirs.
I am a relatively happy, confident individual in who I am right now. And I don't feel as deeply invested in who I was in the past. So if Una can get their memories of who they were and what was important to them, but fill in the blanks of physically what happened to get us here, then I will be satisfied.
You hear the voice laugh, not like it's mocking you, but a soft, sweet laugh that fills you with warmth. And the voice says, "It will be done. By sunrise tomorrow, Una will have their memories returned. I cannot restore your memories now, for I am weak. But over the course of a day, by sunrise tomorrow, all of Una's memories will be returned." And with that, the voice fades from your mind.
Did you feel them, Doc?
Oh, I felt like I was there with you.
Doc, you would have felt the presence, but you wouldn't have heard the conversation.
Okay. So then Doc would say, I feel as if I was sitting with you, listening, but I couldn't hear what they were saying, if that makes sense.
They asked me to make a choice between half our memories for both of us, or all for one.
And?
Well, I know that everyone would assume that I would take everything for myself.
I don't think so.
So we'll just have to wait and find out to see what happens.
Doc smiles almost knowingly and says, You've come a long way, Mab. You're a lot smarter and a lot greater than you think you are.
Look, you can keep praising me all you want. I'd never stop you. But if you tell Una anything, I will disown you as my grandpa told.
My attention? Dream on. Vemry's the only one that has my attention now.
Alright, I'll leave you to it and see what they want to do. They want to go to town and either learn more or prepare for the meeting, or I'm not sure. But take your time, Doc. Don't let them pressure you to leaving because they're cold.
Right. Una, you said you were gonna try to connect with the other gods.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me 2 more religion checks, but take a disadvantage.
On each of them?
Yeah, give me 1 for each and disadvantage on both.
Alright, so 9 and 9.
You can feel yourself trying to connect with the gods. You can feel their energies, but you're not quite able to make it. You're not quite able to connect.
Una's gonna like angrily like pound her fists on the snow.
Why are you so mad now, Una?
Because as usual, you were right. I can't connect with the other gods. I feel them, but I can't connect to them.
There's a time and a place, and this isn't the time you're going to be able to, nor is it the place. I thought that was relatively obvious, Una.
I feel so bad for that god. I was there, like it felt like I was in that cage with them. Confined, hard to breathe, trapped in darkness.
Feel bad for anyone with a sentience that would be trapped when they don't want to be trapped. And I
We need to save them.
will give credit where credit is due for an omnipresent being. But you have to stop being so naive, Una. Not everyone out there is great and amazing. They're gods, they can do whatever they want, and yet the world still has famine and poverty and evil.
We still need to save them though, Mab, right?
We go where the money goes. So if someone wants to pay us to save them, we save them.
That king is
Apparently the highest bidder is for information from the king.
We should go back and talk to the captain. Were you able to connect with the god?
He was wishy-washy, a lot of static. I'm not quite sure I'm cut out for this.
You couldn't get your memories back either.
I don't think I'm going to get my memories back, no.
Are you mad at me for not getting mine back?
I'm always mad at you for a different host of reasons, but sacrificing something that you want for other people is not something I'm keen to be mad at you for. And why do you care? You never care if I'm mad at you or not.
I mean, I do. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like nothing I do is ever gonna compare to you.
True. Honestly, you should stop trying.
Well, that's why I generally don't.
So what's with this infantile attitude lately?
I don't know. Ever since I found out from that other person about what may or may not be our heritage, I don't know.
Why does it matter and what does it change anything? We can't go back in time and reverse anything, and so far we haven't found a way into the future to see how it ends, so what we have is the right here and the right now. So take it as you will. Always remember that I am indeed the better twin. That won't change. Whether you get memories back or not.
I already told you I'm not going to get them back. The god was very specific.
I don't know, maybe we can find another tree with another symbol.
Well, it won't happen today.
Look. You always have to have an angle. Isn't that what we do?
Yes.
We
Especially
save
with
a god.
Jazzy.
You save a god, and then a god is indebted to you.
Then we should go back and look into saving the god.
Not
Jazzy,
doing this for you. I'm doing this for a potential boon from a god, and
Oh,
hopefully a lot of fucking platinum.
I'm aware. Jazzy. Good talk, Jazzy.
Oh, I thought you guys were talking about me, not to me.
No, Jazzy.
Oh,
How much do you reckon saving a god will be worth?
I mean, if they're actually real things, which I don't think they are, but
I saw them, Jazzy. I saw them. And this is not me playing a joke, I swear.
I mean,
You might want to see if they're lying, Jazzy. You never know.
She kind of turns completely to face Una and just kind of stares her down.
I saw them. They literally dragged me to the cage. It was terrible, Jazzy.
Yeah, Jazzy, you believe them. This is the most honest and sincere you've ever seen, Una.
Shite.
It's like you being trapped on land. It's not natural for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I mean, ransoms are I mean, well, maybe not ransoms, but when we kept people, we usually got a lot of coin, and I mean,
Probably not ransom. He probably wants them to channel all of their energy into himself.
But think about a god owing you a favor, Jazzy.
right.
A god of balance.
Huh.
I mean, if there's ever been a way for you to get back at sea, this might be it.
The balance, maybe he'll give you guilt. You love the water that much, you can go swimming all you want.
I'm not sure I like what. Never mind.
There's a lot you're not sure you like. Maybe you should really figure yourself out, Jesse.
I know how Doctus is definitely going to feel about this. This is his patron after all now.
Yeah. He's having a good, quiet talk to himself.
Wishy-washy magic stuff you don't know, you do know, it's there, it's not there, it's...
Why don't you go to a plane without magic then, if you hate it so much?
I'm going to go check on Doctus. I don't even know if he knows about his deity being trapped. And then Uda's going to, like, run towards Doctus.
I mean, who could really trap a deity? If the gods exist, and if... I mean, who would have that power? There was only supposedly 3 gods. It's not like, there's some 4th god out there that's stronger than them all. I mean, they're supposed to be all-powerful beings. How do you trap an all-powerful being? It doesn't make sense.
Maybe one turn on the others.
You're not there.
You're next. I'm going to talk to Doctus. Good day. I said good day.
I said good day!
I don't have the answers because I'm not there. And I wasn't a part of it, so I can't talk about that. I don't know much about gods. I was never a person quite into them. I don't use their essences to power any of my abilities. Unless you count the overall thing that the captain said about how they created the universe and they were part of the universe, so therefore their magic is all magic. And I think that's a bunch of bollocks, if you ask me. But if there are other planes and other people, there's got to be other gods. Or people with the ability to outsmart them.
Maybe, but, I mean... They say, like, gods have plans and we're all just part of the little plan. And, I mean... When I jumped ship, I made that decision. It wasn't nobody else's plan. Nobody made me jump that ship.
That you know of.
I think I
What
would
if
know.
you're just a little furry pawn?
Ain't like
And
nobody
then they
pushed
said,
me.
to restore balance, I'm going to plant this idea into the little brain of the little rabbit that could.
Little rabbit that could.
The only thing I didn't like what they was doing to Doc. I didn't like what they was gonna do to Doc. I tried to get him off the boat, but you know,
You
Jim,
wanted to restore balance?
I mean, I don't know. Jim
You're
saw
a
me.
pawn, Jazzy. I think you're a pawn.
Don't like it.
Well, that's how the world goes, yeah? Tough to kind of go with the ebb and flow.
So where are we going?
I'm assuming we're going to go back to town, have a little conversation here and there with people who might be familiar, but if the king has got the gods, and we want the god, I mean, we also want to be paid, right? That's still important.
Well, yeah, that's the main thing.
So, I say you and I come up with our grand scheme of how we're going to free the gods but get all the money. Because Doc just wants to free the gods, and my dearest twin is sighted in the past right now and not the future.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we can come up with something, but hey, and if just between us, thank you for not making a big deal about the wolf thing. It's they just don't like me, okay? And with all the teeth and they come in packs. It's just
Mab leans in and is like, I don't quite understand. It's not like you smell particularly appetizing. A little briny, if you will.
well, I mean, nobody's ever really complained before. Besides the point, I just wanted to say thanks for not making fun of me for it.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. I can understand when someone is in distress.
Alright, well, we better go catch up with the other two.
Oh, the turtle's still going to be on the ground meditating, for sure.
Yeah, he does that. It's kind of annoying sometimes, because, like, before we met up, like, we would try to go somewhere, and he'd stop, and we would stay for very long, drawn-out period of time in the same place. It was kind of boring.
Well, let him have his moment. This is the epicenter of all creation for him.
Okay.
Currently, anyway.
Okay, Alright. Let's go
Alright,
check
I'll
on
watch your six. I'll keep an eye out for the wolves.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And she keeps her cutlass out and makes her way back, like, very careful to not, like, very silent footsteps even in the snow.
Yeah, you're very silent.
What time is it now around?
Well, it looks darker than it is. When you guys had left, the sun was up, but it wasn't quite noon. And you guys had walked for a couple hours, so it's probably early afternoon. It just seems darker than it is in the area that you're in.
Okay. Doctus?
Yes.
Were you able to connect with your deity?
Oh, what a joy to feel her warmth again, or its warmth again.
The trap doctus. I they showed me.
Do you know how to get there?
I believe that it's the king that the captain was talking to us about.
I understand.
They're trapped and it's terrifying. They have no room. They're terribly uncomfortable.
Like, they're trapped all together?
I didn't see any others. I don't know how much power the deity had to show me. They said I had a choice between my memories and finding out where they were.
What a noble decision, Una. I'm proud of you.
It's what Mabe would have done, and also it's your deity. Like,
Well, I'm sure they'll appreciate it. We'd be doing them a great service, and the rewards are unimaginable for if we could free them, having magic again, everybody being able to restore their reputations back to what they were.
also your magic comes from them. Who knows? Like your abilities to heal us and stuff might be compromised as well.
Oh, I suppose, but those are just small things. In the grand scheme of things, we would be doing a great deal of good, even for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I think we should go back to the village and see if we can talk to the captain and find out more about this king. Mabe said she couldn't connect with the god.
Oh?
Yeah, Mabe said it was all static or something.
I understand. You know,
Terrible
you
that you don't
two,
get the memories back.
you two may be the tricksters that you are, but I say each and every day you two impress me more and more, and I'm glad to be a part of this journey with you for however long it is.
I'm glad to have you with us as well. Uh-oh, it's jazzy. Dun dun dun.
Oh, you have no idea.
Oh yeah, I'm aware.
Hey, what you talk about?
I was filling in doctors on what happened with the god.
Bam! Punch in the face.
Shall we head back?
Yeah, it's best to get out of here before, well,
Gets cold and darker.
that too, I guess.
Best to get out of here.
Let's go. Let's get out of here. I say with a wink at Jazzy.
Now it just feels forced. I was gonna say, what's up, Doc? You feel better? Everything come out okay?
Words could not describe the joy that I feel right now, Jazzy. I've not felt this way in, I can't, even just a fraction of what I could once feel.
Your god sounded like you. I don't know, doctors, if it was because they chose to come to me in a voice that sounded familiar, but they sounded almost like you originally.
As I've said before, we're a lot more similar than you might think.
Jazzy just kind of grunts and starts walking back towards town with the same
like
footprints.
I'd be walking while I'm having this conversation with doctors. It's I guess a little reassuring knowing they're actually out there though.
Well, before we leave, Doctus is going to say a quick prayer and say, what a joy it was to feel your warmth again. I pray that you'll find us in our time of need and we'll be with you soon.
As you finish your prayer, you feel a surprisingly warm wind wrap around you, and then it disappears, but you still retain the warmth.
Una would be trying to go as fast as she can to the village because she wants to talk to the captain. Pretty much tell the captain she was right that King's a dickbag.
All right. So, everybody on to beat feet back to the village?
Yeah. What time is it when we get back?
It's mid-afternoon at this point, but I have to present a question to my lovely players.
Okay.
Oh.
do we want to call it for the night?
Feels like a good place to stop.
Boo. Boo.
I mean, we've been going for
4.5 hours.
yeah, 4.5. You're right.
Yep.
I blame Chris.
I'm going to say we are going to call it for tonight. We will pick back up next week, next Saturday, same bat time, same bat channel, to continue on the story of the Arcane Imbalance.
Wonderful.
Boy, zoom in for a rude awakening when she wakes up tomorrow.
And with that, I'll just say, hey, if you want to see more of Duo and be a part of the action, or have a chance to be part of the action, check out our Discord, check out the YouTube channel, the Twitter, follow us here on Twitch, subscribe, and as I like to say, there's 20 sides to every story, guys. Roll for yours. Have a good night.